I'm supposed to be able to watch it live right now. I cannot see the goddamn thing. Where is it? Fuck WWE.com. There are all these watch links. I click on this, it's just an ad.
Well, that's no good.
No, that is no good. Thanks, Vince. WWE.com can suck my dick. The same stupid fucking commercial over and over again. I'm so angry. Now I'm feeling much better. I just got an email from Buddy Wayne. I asked him if he was good to go tomorrow. He responds back, yes. I just watched the internet show. Oh, fuck. How did Buddy Wayne find the webcast and I couldn't find it? Bullshit. The Hall of Fame is going on as we speak. Apparently it's already quite the deal. The Blackjacks, Sherry Martel. There's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about the next couple of days. I want to see if we can actually log on to the Hall of Fame ceremony here very, very quickly. So, let's see what we can do. I'm on the Hall of Fame page. It says, watch the Hall of Fame, but it doesn't have a link.
Uh-oh.
That's usually a problem, isn't it?
Yeah. It certainly is, young Brian.
It's the kind of show that you're in for this evening. Let me click the Hall of Fame link right here. I want to be able to do updates, from the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's going to be awfully hard if I can't watch the goddamn
I don't
Hall of Fame.
know what updates you could really give.
Well, we'd tune in.
You basically just want to watch it, is what you're saying.
No, we tune in for a minute or so at a time as we're doing this show, so people can relive it with us.
I see.
So I'm going to try and do one more thing right here. So waste a little bit of time, Vinny. You watched a little bit of the Iron Sheik DVD today. Our plan to watch the entire thing is out the window, at least for this weekend. Perhaps next weekend we'll get into it. But what did you get out of the whole Iron Sheik deal?
The great feeling all time I had all my life.
Besides that.
We watched about 10 minutes of it. It starts out slow, but Sheik does, at one point, he calls Dan Marotti Dan Maloney, and then immediately...
At the very beginning.
And it immediately references the Maloney Wrestling Federation, so... in a way, he does hit the ground rolling. I listened to the Buddy show and the Dan Marotti show, and people were talking about how you listen to those shows and you think Sheik's not funny anymore because you feel bad for him. And I don't feel bad for him because of his substance abuse problems, because many other guys lived through the wrestling scene in the 1980s, and there's only one Iron Sheik.
That is damn true.
So I don't necessarily feel a lot of sympathy for him there. What I do feel absolutely terrible for him for is the loss of his daughter. And
I didn't actually hear that story. Did he talk about it?
On the interview?
Yeah.
Not the 10 minutes we watched.
Oh, okay.
But if you've ever known anyone who's lost a child, they don't get over it. Some days are better than others, and time goes by, and they can get by, but there's not a moment. Every day there's some moment where they stop and think, I'd give everything up just to see my baby one more time. And knowing that about him, that makes it harder to watch. That could, it's like an emotional disability, and it could lead to all the other problems he's had. So that makes it hard to watch. I
think his daughter just passed away somewhat recently.
Well, that certainly doesn't help. Oh, as in, because the interview was a year ago.
Well, I'm talking, I'm sure the Sheik had a number of problems before such a thing ever occurred.
Okay, well, all the more better to laugh at him then.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, I understand what you're saying about children. Just ask Granny.
Yeah.
Of the 4 or 5 times she's been on, half the time she's mentioned Terry, and she will always do it about half the time. So I understand, but to use that as an explanation for Sheik, and I'm very sorry for Sheik and everything, but he had these problems, I believe, long before such a thing occurred.
Okay. Yeah, well then I feel no guilt about laughing at him.
But things may have, Actually, I don't really even know the date, but I seem to recall it wasn't like very early on in his career.
It wasn't in 1982, for example.
It was not in 1982, no. So,
No.
But,
So we will eventually sit down and watch the rest of it. After that, it was kind of slow going. Sheik's very mellow. They're talking about growing up in Tehran and getting into wrestling and moving on to Minnesota, and nothing earth-shaking other than mentioning the Maloney Wrestling Federation.
The Maloney, and it was one of those things where about 17 times they had to correct him, and
they just gave up.
He just kept,
He repeats himself a lot, mentioning he's very... First of all, every question Dan Marotti asks is either a good question or an excellent, excellent question.
Yes, Dan Maloney knows his stuff.
He does.
He's asking these excellent, excellent questions.
Yes. And Sheik repeats himself a lot. He was lucky to grow up in Tehran because they like wrestling. They like Greco-Roman wrestling and freestyle wrestling. And football soccer.
That's right.
Or was it soccer football?
I don't remember.
One of the two.
I was trying to do 18 million other things, and
Yeah.
Much of it was failing, but what can you do? That was the Iron Sheik, and I believe we've actually figured out how to access the Hall of Fame here, which I was sort of doing during your speech, and if it all of a sudden comes up, kids, we'll have connected, but until then, let's just get on. Oh, here we go. I just got a warning about maturity.
Is this the Boogeyman? Is he going to the Hall of Fame?
Oh, no, give me a goddamn commercial. We'll get back to that in a minute. So anyway, kids, the Hall of Fame is this evening, as we noted. We're going to be going to that throughout the show this evening. Let's see how much time that I wasted while I was setting that whole thing up.
I predict 6 minutes.
We've been on doing the show for 10 minutes. But anyway, we'll...
And what a show it's been.
What a show it's been. I apologize for this, kids, but gotta get our priorities straight here. And don't yell at me for saying I should have done this before the show went on the air, because I didn't even think about it until we started talking about the Hall of Fame. But
I don't want anyone to yell at me for anything about the show.
WWE 24/7 online gives you access to
that's
hundreds
Gene
of
Okerlund,
videos
kids.
streamed directly to your computer.
Why is this
You can
happening?
watch what you want, when you want.
Spyware?
I'm
I don't know.
horribly distracted right now by
I
this.
can't imagine why.
Stop
Unlimited access.
playing, goddammit.
I can't see the screen, but I have this image of an enormous Gene Okerlund pointing at you and giving his pitch.
It was something or other. You ever notice that, like, this goddamn,
Show sucks.
WWE.com is like the most impossible thing to maneuver through. You ever notice that?
Sometimes it's
People
pretty
are always
bad.
like, go find this free match on WWE.com. And I can look through the site for like 3 hours and not find it.
Then they have those annoying ads, and I think that was one of them, but it's an ad that pops up like the corner of the screen, and it's not in its own window, so you gotta look around for the close button to click.
Yeah.
They're not the only one site that does that, but it's annoying.
Where the hell is the fucking Hall of Fame? I'm supposed to be able to watch it live right now, and there's people doing play-by-play on the site, and I cannot see the goddamn thing. It's fucking driving me crazy. Just play the fucking Hall of Fame. What?
I don't know.
There are all these watch links. Here's a webcast link. I click on this. It's just an ad. Buy. Where is it?
You want me to come look at it?
No!
Okay.
Hold on a second.
I can't answer the question
Everybody,
then.
hold on a second, goddammit. Yeah, well, we're back. And I cannot figure out the Hall of Fame. You know, I try to make our website easy to navigate and such. Am I just stupid? Somebody email me or post on the board if I'm just a fucking idiot because I couldn't find the Hall of Fame thing on WWE.com. If the whole idea is watch this live on WWE.com, shouldn't you go to the fucking front page and right there to just say click here to watch?
I would think so.
Should not just be a blank screen. Should not be a watch the Hall of Fame live and nothing you can actually click on. That's all it is a graphic. Watch the Hall of Fame live. And then, here, you hear this?
I hear a noise, yes.
This is played over and over and over and over again.
I repeated the same commercial.
Yeah, the same commercial over and over.
So you're not hitting stop.
No.
It just
keeps playing the
commercial
fucking...
plays at the end and then goes right back to the beginning of the commercial.
No, it plays the entire commercial, it buffers for a while, then it plays the fucking commercial again.
Well, that's no good.
No, that is no good. Thanks, Vince.
Yeah.
Fuck WWE.com. We need a very angry song right now. Do I have anything that I can do to make myself feel better here? Hold on a second. Where's that one song? You know?
The Thing with the guy?
The one with the thing. Here we go. Triple fucking H. 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 That makes me feel a little bit better.
I hope that helped.
Fuck those guys. 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 Fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys. WWE.com can suck my dick. There we go.
All right.
Now I'm feeling much better. I hope I didn't blow out anybody's speakers with that,
Or ruining relationships, or...
I don't care anymore. I'm so angry. I wanted to have a fun little show where we cut back and forth to Blackjack Lanza and Bobby Heenan fucking yelling at each other. Instead, what do I get? Bullshit. The same stupid fucking commercial over and over again. Where were we on the show before I...
Let's just stop.
No, I'm going to keep going. I refuse to quit today.
That's for damn sure. I can vouch for that.
I just got an email from Buddy Wayne. Kids, all I just got to say is just shut the show off now. It's not going to get any better from this point forward. It's going to be the worst show in history, because I don't care about it tonight. I've been made so upset by WWE.com that I don't give a shit about recapping their fucking stupid SmackDown show, ranting and raving about their absolutely retarded booking. Absolutely retarded. Yeah. I'm just going to have a little fun here and let the mics go.
All right.
Play a little song. I totally don't care. So I'm going to recap this thing from Buddy Wayne right here. I asked if he was good to go tomorrow. Told him we should meet at Albertsons around 2:30 or so. And he responds back, yes. What time here is the Hall of Fame? I don't know what the fuck Central Time is. I need Everett, Washington time. I just watched the internet show. Oh, fuck.
Buddy Wayne watched the internet show.
How did Buddy Wayne find the webcast when I couldn't find it? Did they take it off the site or something like that?
I don't know. Maybe you're blocked. Maybe your IP address is blocked on the site.
Just watched the internet show. Greg Gagne stole it. I love the writers in the crowd looking at Atlas like he was retarded. See, we missed something good.
Yeah.
And now we can't see it because of this fucking stupid website. So
fucking
angry.
So retarded.
Fucking so retarded. I'm going to respond right now.
Yeah.
Everyone else can just hang on while I respond to Buddy Wayne. You can see what life is like here at Club Chico as I can basically live my life with me.
That's a horrible thought.
Unfortunately, my thing still ain't working. World Wrestling Entertainment. My computer isn't working either. I hit the reply button and nothing comes up. But Buddy and I email back and forth, much like Dave and I mail back and forth. A lot of people don't know this. They assume that Dave and I talk all the time. We never talk.
Yeah.
We talk on the air. We talk before we go on the air. That's it. The rest of the time we email back and forth. And it's the same with Buddy Wayne. 11 p.m. PST, Everett time. How the fuck did you watch the fucking Hall of fucking Fame, buddy? There. It's a happy little email. That's the whole thing. If I could add I need what are those things, smileys? I need a middle finger smiley.
I'm sure there's one somehow.
I couldn't figure out the fucking computer. I apologize for my profanity today, everybody. I'm down on WWE.com, down on a lot of things, and you know what's funny is Granny the other day goes, I don't listen to any shows except you and Vinny, so what a show you're listening to tonight, Granny. Just turn it off. It's all,
Really, Granny's not the only one.
It is not appropriate for anybody this evening.
This is a bad radio show. I encourage you all to find other interests today.
Yeah. Let's
Maybe
go back.
Easy listening or...
Easy listening. Let's do some karaoke. I think what we should do, just because it is the eve of WrestleMania, and people are going to be wanting to know, I think we should run over quickly the predictions again. Let's get going here on WrestleMania. Very quickly, we won't take 3 hours for all these, but Tori Wilson and Candice Michelle. I won't require you to tell me how long the match is going to be. Just who's going to win the goddamn match and how.
Candice. by hitting her with a pillow.
I realize the stupidity of what I said after it was too late. I would agree that Candice is going to win this, and Tori will be released within 3 weeks.
Sucks to be her.
Trish Stratus and Mickie James.
Mickie.
All right.
Oh, how?
Mickie via shenanigans. That's my prediction.
Okay, that's fair. We don't need to be any more specific than that.
How would she win?
I don't know. Chick kick. She'll hit Trish with her own move and pin her.
No. I don't know. I don't think Trish is going to win. That would be too stupid.
It would be stupid for Trish to win.
So stupid that they may do it.
Well, there's that.
That's all I can think. What could a crazy... Fireplace poker. There we go.
Is there a fireplace near the ring on the Rosemont horizon?
Perhaps there was a fire before the show and they put the pokers underneath the ring.
A fireplace poker.
That's my prediction.
So you're going on record before God, the world, and everyone as saying that Mickie James will pin Trish Stratus after striking her with a fireplace poker at WrestleMania 22.
She may not strike her, just threaten. I know how these crazy women work.
So she may threaten her. She may say, Trish Stratus, I have a fireplace poker.
She may swing it, and
Okay.
Trish ducks and then stands up into a chick kick or something.
I see.
Fireplace poker, kids. That's the finish of this match.
Fireplace poker.
Boogeyman versus Booker T and Sharmell.
Boogeyman will win, and my prediction is the match would be better if it was Boogie versus Sharmell with Booker on commentary.
Alrighty then. I agree that the Boogeyman is going to win. A lot of these matches, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
Really, pretty much every fucking match on this show, just about, it doesn't really matter. That's a major problem.
That is a big problem.
Chris Masters and Carlito versus Kane and the Big Show. Somebody on our board came up with a name for Chris Masters and Carlito as a team, and I laughed so hard.
You don't remember it, do you?
I can't remember what it is. Go on. What's your prediction?
I predict that Masters and Carlito will win, and that kind of bums me out.
I think they called them the Masters of Cool.
It's a fine name.
It was something of that nature, but go ahead.
Masters and Carlito will win, and that kind of makes me sad because
I'm worried that we're 13 pages into the Hall of Fame thread.
That is distressing.
And that makes me even more angry that I was unable to see it. Go on. The Masters of Cool, yep.
Yeah, they're going to win. They'll be our champs, yep. Yes, they will.
And here's Nut Bunny suggesting the Gay Cool Alliance. It was Tetsujin who suggested the Masters of Cool.
No, they are now the Gay Cool Alliance.
Osama's debuting Monday.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, OVW, one last reason to watch OVW, and he will no doubt be put in a non-speaking wrestling role. And
I love our board. The quote from Dave, Osama Rodriguez Alejandro starts on Raw as a heel manager Monday night with a slightly modified ring name, and somebody immediately responded with Osama Bin Laden. Oh, God.
I bet he's wrong.
It'd probably be Armando Alejandro Estrada, which was the name they trademarked, but go on. What the hell were we talking about?
WrestleMania.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why. I'd rather talk about Osama.
So would I. And Osama bin Alejandro.
Osama
Laden.
Rodriguez Alejandro.
Then we've got we didn't predict the winners. Carlito and Chris Masters tragically are going to win and hold the belts.
The Gay Cool Connection is going to win.
Yeah, Masters of Cool. Mark Henry and The Undertaker. I want Mark Henry to win.
After his promo tonight, I desperately want him to win.
I know he won't.
He's not going to.
No, there's no chance.
Yeah.
Should be bad. They're actually going to not have a debate. They're going to work.
I think it's going to be so short it won't be terrible.
You know what I like is how I put a request up for somebody to please. Anybody like to write a report for the Hall of Fame, and we've gotten no responses in like 4 hours. I guess nobody just. It is 3 hours.
I wouldn't do it.
You can plug whatever you want, kids. Go ahead. Just please help a brother out here. This goddamn weekend is totally crazy. What are we on now? Don't even tell me I pushed the wrong button. You've got to be kidding me. I just lost the whole card.
I thought you could say we weren't.
The worst show of all time.
I thought you were going to say we weren't recording, which would be a blessing.
We have done that before.
We did. It sucked. Although it turned out to be okay still. But tonight, if you had told me we had not recorded that last half hour, I'd have said, good, no show.
I found it again.
Show canceled due to incompetence.
Chris Benoit versus JBL.
I predict JBL will win. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. I think this may be the best match on the show.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I do not think it's going to be the best match on the show. I think it's going to be a good match.
Mm-hmm.
And I think JBL is going to win. That is my prediction right there. New United States champion. No holds barred. Vince McMahon versus HBK.
No, Shane. Sean's going to win. Shane will be there. And they'll do some table spots, and Vince will strut. He'll probably bleed. And then he'll get kicked in the mouth, and he'll lose.
Yeah.
The end.
Vince McMahon will not win this match.
No, but then Sean will be gone on Monday, and Vince will still be there.
You never know. Plans change.
That's true.
I guess we shall see. Money in the Bank ladder match, kids. Shelton, Rob Van Dam, Lashley, Hardy, Finley. Am I missing anybody? Flair.
Six? Oh, Flair. Oh, yeah, Ric Flair.
Ric Flair.
You almost forgot Ric Flair. Rob Van Dam's going to win.
Rob Van Dam is probably going to win, yes. But I could see Ric Flair winning.
I can see Flair winning. I can see RVD winning, and that's really it.
Edge and Mick Foley in a hardcore match.
Which is, of course, different than the street fight.
Yes.
So we know the ladder's going to be the ladder match, and Vince is going to use the tables and presumably chairs, which pretty much limits Edge and Foley to barbed wire and thumbtacks. So
and fire.
And fire. So bad times for these two dudes. Oh, it'll be good, and Edge will win.
I would agree with that. I have nothing more to say. They're not going to put Mick Foley. Didn't I say I had nothing more to say? And then I immediately started saying more.
I don't think you've ever contradicted yourself before, though, so that's okay.
Are you kidding me?
That was sarcasm.
It was so good I fell for it. Because
Yeah.
I thought, I probably haven't. But then I thought better of it. Then we got the hardcore match.
No, we just did that.
How dare you correct me? I was about to correct myself and you had to jump in there just to be a dick.
Yes.
Then we've got the hardcore match. It's a three-way for the world title. Kurt Angle, who is a very hardcore man. Randy Orton, who, what can you say about Randy Orton and how hardcore he is?
I don't know, Brian. What can you say?
Suplex him, put him in a camel clutch, break his back, and then fuck his ass.
And the very hardcore Rey Mysterio, the smallest man ever to be fighting in the main event for the title. What do you think about this
That's
match?
very hardcore. Didn't we already talk about this about 40 minutes ago? It'll probably be good. I don't care who's going to win. I think Orton will, but I don't care. I should be excited for Ray to get his world title main event on the biggest stage from them all, and I just don't care.
They've killed it.
They've killed it so dead.
WrestleMania is a very special day.
Yes.
They're going to pull out all the stops. They're going to have incredible pyro. They may have a new set. They may have new colors. Everyone's going to have a fancy outfit.
Maybe they'll bring back the white ropes everyone loves so much.
The white ropes. There's going to be an aura. There's going to be colors and lights. There's going to be good food, friends, drink. It's going to be a very special day. And when tomorrow is over, if Rey Mysterio wins the title, it may actually be a very special moment.
Mm-hmm.
But the key is, it's not tomorrow yet. And right now, nobody is looking at this as being the potential of a very special moment, a great moment. It has been killed.
Yeah.
So if tomorrow comes and goes and we're like, that was one of the best WrestleManias I've ever seen, does it matter?
No, because no one will have seen it.
It's just like, I don't know, it is different with WrestleMania because there are going to be a lot of people that are going to buy it just because it's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But it's just, the hype's not there. It cannot be denied.
This is the worst
I will not
promotion.
come on the show Monday and go, I was so wrong. That Ray Jr. title win was so special.
No.
I won't say
not.
it. Even if it's the greatest show of all time, I will not rescind what I'm saying right now.
No.
Which is they've done a shitty job trying to make us excited for this show. And at this point right now, at 8:32 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturday night, April 1st, I barely give a shit about WrestleMania.
No, I said this a month ago, and it was half joking, but I'm totally serious. I would skip Mania before I'd skip the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame show is way more exciting than WrestleMania itself. And maybe tomorrow for Mania, Ray will have, POD's going to be there doing a song, and maybe he'll come out in the big Aztec headdress, and everyone will go crazy, and maybe then he'll get excited, but who cares?
Right now, who cares?
Who gives a fuck?
Think about that for the biggest show of 2006.
The biggest
Who
show of
gives a
2006.
fuck?
The biggest match in the career of two of these men, and don't care.
Which two?
Randy and Ray.
Randy.
I guess you could argue Randy's match with Benoit was bigger.
Yes.
But
Well, unless Randy wins, then all of a sudden this all goes out the window. And then the main event, John Cena, Triple H. Again, who cares?
well, this is the ultimate, and who cares? In that we all thought Hunter was going to win, and now we're kind of leaning towards Cena's going to win, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You can do either way.
No. And apparently Cena was just booed out of the place at the Hall of Fame tonight. Fans were chanting Triple H.
That's the killer right there.
The same Triple H who said that Angle was just a shitty heel. He can't get those people to cheer Cena. It's all Angle's fault. Now who's the geek? Triple H.
I was going to say, Hunter.
Hi there. I'm on my way, I'm making it. I got to make it show, yeah.
How's it going, everybody? Brian Alvarez and Young Vince.
Can you hear me?
Oh, boy.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Buddy, is that you? Hello? Vince?
Yeah, we got some friends on the line tonight. Buddy is here along with Craig. They may not last at this rate. Buddy's extraordinarily...
Listen, I like an 8-ball, and just meet me at the hotel. Because I don't want you going to my house. No.
Buddy is very, very loud. Craig is very, very quiet, so this should be a hell of a show.
How dare you?
That's a little better, Craig. Make sure you speak up there, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're all here on the line, 4 of us. We won't keep Buddy and Craig forever. We're just going to start off by getting their thoughts on the evening, because it was more than just WrestleMania. This was WrestleMania wackiness. You know what I mean? We had the buffet, the Super Craig buffet. There was pizza. There was good times, drink, Bernard. What more could you ask for on this evening?
Naked, remember when we all naked wrestled?
Yeah, that was cool.
In between matches?
In Crisco?
Yeah, we threw down some tarps and oiled each other up.
Oh, that was the best.
I never won, though.
I wish the Sheik was here.
Okay, let's start with...
Vince tapped me on the weenie lock.
In all seriousness, when we got to the proper estate, Craig greeted me at the door with tears in his eyes. He embraced me and said, welcome to my house in this blessed day, or something.
That's right. He had tears in his eyes. He hugged me, and he shook my hand in quite a fine manner, I might add.
Mine, too. There was 2 Percocet in it.
Wow.
It was a nice meeting.
He likes you more than me, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Vince got the cold shoulder. We all know about you, Vince, in the proper household, so you're just second fiddle here tonight, as usual.
Yeah, that's true.
Fourth fiddle, in fact.
I am. I'm a distant fourth.
With everybody here on the show. But, Buddy, what did you think when we invited you to Super Craig Buffet Day?
It was nothing. It wasn't about Craig, because I love Craig, but just a pay-per-view. Because you remember the last pay-per-view when I went over there with you guys was
that one. Yes,
that
exactly.
One? Where those guys did that thing?
We believe it was actually the Survivor Series pay-per-view.
That's right.
Yes.
And it was just long. You know what I mean?
It was long, yes.
And I don't have the enthusiasm as being a grizzled veteran.
Sure, exactly.
No, but I don't have, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, I just don't want to.
You didn't bring over your Cena spinning belt.
Yeah, wearing that did cheer me up. And my G headband I had on.
That's right.
But, no, I just thought, oh, God, there's going to be a bunch of guys here maybe who really love wrestling, and maybe they'll be screaming.
But are dorks.
Yeah, or just knocking. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I just want to watch this thing in a nice house and on a nice TV, and that's what it turned out to be.
That's right. We didn't have to worry about anybody getting too out of hand. Everybody pretty much behaved themselves. Bernard was there.
No one had any signs.
I called it Bernardomania.
It really was in some ways, Bernardomania.
Especially during the pillow match when Bernard goes, submissions. But it wasn't funny to him. It was like, so somebody can win by a submission in this?
Yes.
He could not fathom that such a thing would be possible, that a submission could take place in the pillow fight match. So, Craig, what food did you have at the festivities this past evening?
Well, we started it off with just some finger food, some crackers with salsa and cream cheese, and then progressed into some jalapeno poppers and cheese sticks, and right around 4:30 we had some pizza in the oven, and finished it up with some of my wife's infamous, maybe even famous, cookies.
Craig, I'm not going to complain about the food and everything tonight because you had a fine spread.
Fine spread.
Thank you.
I will say that our philosophy of food serving is entirely different because my philosophy is at 4 o'clock p.m. when we arrive, I wanted about 5 pizzas already laid out. I wanted cookies everywhere. I wanted everything just ready to go at 4 o'clock, like a buffet. Everything in a big, long line.
I was very happy. It was good.
I will note that you guys got here a half hour early.
Yes,
That's true.
Buddy was driving the town car, and just as he would have done, I idiot-proofed the trip. I told Vince to be there at 2:30, knowing it was only an hour drive, so even if he screwed it up horrendously, we'd still be there early, and sure enough, it worked, but...
I think part of it, too, is we were in the town car, and so everyone got out of our way on the freeway.
That's right.
They did.
We even took a wrong turn once and got there early.
We did. We missed the exit.
Which was Vince's fault.
Yeah, of course.
Vince got here so early that he forgot Sean.
And that's right.
That's right.
Sean did show up late because of Vince's idiocy.
I will make it up to him somehow.
Craig's philosophy of food is like, we get there at 4 and there's no food available. Then about 4:05, maybe some jalapeno poppers go in the oven, and then 5 o'clock is the time for the pizza, and 6 o'clock is the time for the cookies, and everything's got its own time. And I'm like, just give me some fucking food here.
He makes you want it.
Oh, he did, all right. I was ready to
I'm
eat Craig, actually, about 4:30, but... So anyway...
About 9 different guys.
Yeah.
Totally different ways of life, totally... Everybody was so different, but that's what made it good.
That is for sure. This is very different people.
Very, very different people. They were all there. This was, I think, the biggest crowd ever at Craig's house for a show, so...
Yep.
There was interest in Wrestlemania Sunday. I don't know if it was so much the pay-per-view itself. Wasn't a whole lot of interest going in, but I think that because everybody was expecting nothing, the pay-per-view more than delivered.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
since we've got the guests on the line, we'll start with Buddy here. Your thoughts on the show, just in general. What'd you think when you got there, and what'd you think when you left?
When I got there, and there was 2 Percocet in my hand, we could have been watching 2 fucking kids wrestling in Craig's backyard Friday. That's all I cared. No, I didn't. Just like I said, I expected nothing. I didn't even really remember who was on. I remembered the ladder match.
That's right.
And I totally forgot a bunch of stuff. I was like, you know what I mean? We expected really nothing, and it turned out good.
Turned out a fine performance. Craig, in general, what'd you think?
Oh, good show. I mean, like Buddy said, you weren't expecting a whole lot because there wasn't any, big blow-away matches that, even Cena and Hunter, that was a really good match.
That's right.
And they fed off the crowd. The crowd was totally hating Cena. And, they went with it.
It was the Chicago show, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Foley and Edge had a heck of a little dangerous match. And
I think that was the match of the night.
I was just going to ask
really
you that. That's your pick for the match of the night?
Yeah, it delivered.
Yeah.
Craig,
Same
you?
Here. Same here. Foley and Edge was unbelievable.
And as far as the worst match of the night, I guess if you wanted to choose, Boogeyman and Booker T and Sharmell, or the pillow fight?
No, the Boogeyman and Booker T. That was just.
Yeah, it was bad.
I was going to suggest Undertaker and Mark Henry.
Undertaker and Mark Henry was a different kind of horrible.
Yeah.
The other two were just, there was no redeeming qualities to either of the other two matches.
No.
Okay, that's fair. There was
match.
occasional cool spots in the Taker match. That's fair.
That's right. So, Buddy, what do you think?
Tombstone ever.
That's right.
Yeah.
Buddy, I wanted to ask you about Bernard. I don't think you were sure about Bernard going in. I'd written a little bit about Bernard in the newsletter, talked a little bit about him on the show.
Right.
I don't think you really knew what you were in for, but Bernard delivered.
Oh, he was the man. Bernard was after the Pinnacle show the other night, and I knew Bernard's love of the old school of the pioneers of this business. I gained a great respect for him, and then we were waiting for him to show up, and he delivered. He just quiet, had fun, watched the show, and then he just come through with a line that busted us all up.
That's right.
But he never intentionally tried to be funny. He just,
That's the key.
Yeah, he just say something.
He wasn't making jokes. He
Yep,
would just
exactly.
say things to say them, and it would always be funny.
Yeah. The thing with Bernard is he's always saying something funny, and he's not even one of those guys that knows he's unintentionally funny.
No.
He's unintentionally funny and doesn't even get it.
Yep.
People are just laughing because he makes a comment that makes perfect, total sense.
Yeah.
And you just don't expect a man like Bernard to have these insights into pro wrestling because he doesn't really follow it that close.
Right.
He just watches his Raw and everything like that. So, yeah, Bernard certainly delivered. So, it was good from that perspective. But we've got a long show here of recapping matches. I won't keep you guys on the line for the whole thing unless you greatly want to stay on for it. But
Hey, I do need to get something out of the way there, Brian.
go for it.
Well, for a while now, I've been keeping it kind of a secret, and I think I should.
It's a big announcement.
Divulge it here on WrestleMania Sunday.
Of course.
My wife is expecting.
That's right. She is pregnant.
Very much so.
In fact, she may deliver on or about the same day that Triple H and Stephanie deliver.
That's right.
I hadn't thought of that.
Coincidence?
Maybe not. Here's what a trooper your lovely wife Michelle is. She did all the cooking tonight.
Oh, God bless Michelle.
My God, she cooked pizzas, she cooked cookies, she was running around the house taking care of the
dog?
The dog, that's all I'll say about the dog. Taking care of that little yapping dog, and just a trooper. And she made some fine cookies.
Yep.
Wonderful cookies. So
She's the best wife I have.
That's right.
That's right.
Me too.
Wait a minute.
Well, you've got to congratulate you on that, and would you like to divulge the name of the young child? We had predicted Shawn Michaels.
We found out a few weeks ago it was a boy, and we've been going round and round on names. And
He-Ho Del Craig.
Kurt Cameron Proper.
Cameron
Cameron.
Craig. Or Cameron Stone. We haven't
Cameron
quite figured
Stone.
it out.
I think it's going to end up being Cameron Craig.
Probably.
The moment Cameron Stone shows up on our board, I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Oh, geez, I didn't even think about that. I should have kept my mouth shut.
And I think when Buddy first heard Cameron Stone, there may have been things that popped into his mind.
Yeah,
buddy.
And
I'm not gonna give him our middle name, which is Harold.
That's right. You're both Harold.
Are they really?
Yes.
We're both Harold.
I did not know Craig's middle name was Harold.
Craig Harold Proper and Stephen Harold Finley.
Yep.
Holy cow.
There's Harolds all over this show.
It is, I know.
I never thought I would know two people with the middle name of Harold.
And a Bernard.
And Bernard.
That's quite the crew.
Bernard.
You know what?
Harry and Bernard.
What was really funny, Brian, is when you were telling Bernard about Giant Bernard wrestling in all Japan, and he totally no-sold it. Like, that's no big deal. Who cares?
Yeah, it was like halfway through it, I'm thinking, the reason it's so funny is because his name's Bernard.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm telling a Bernard this. He's not going to find his name madly hilarious. So, yeah, just Bernard's like, yeah? Japan, huh?
Big guy, huh?
Big guy. A-Train, don't remember.
All right.
Yeah, that's great. He went on with his life, so. Well, buddy, any final thoughts for this evening before we let you go?
No, I was going to say it was a good show. I mean, the stuff we it was good. Cena, they can knock him as much. He worked his ass off.
He did.
He always does.
Never missed nothing. Worked his ass off and didn't try to over babyface just because the crowd turned on him.
Yep.
And even that thing, remember the going into the finish where he slapped that leg?
That's right. He actually did a roll through into the STFU.
Looked great. He was with Hunter step for step.
Yep.
Ric Flair, still the man.
Yes.
Yes.
Still the man. Finley, still the man. RVD, stupid motherfucker.
And brother man.
Who else? The three-way, we knew that was going to deliver.
Yep, and it did.
And it was good.
Too short.
And
it was too short.
Was that a Rey Mysterio joke? The fact that he won the title?
Yeah, that was good. That was good. What else is there?
Big Show and Kane.
Okay. That was there.
That was there.
Yes.
Thank God there was
Mickey James.
Oh, that was good. The crowd was into her. They fucked the finish up, but it was done perfect.
Buddy, I got to actually ask you, I was going to let you go, but I've changed my mind here. You talked a lot in the car. I won't ask for the entire half-hour speech, but you, unlike myself, as everybody is aware, did see the Hall of Fame on the Internet last night.
Right.
And what were your thoughts overall on the whole deal?
Oh, my God, it was horrible. It was just like, you're just waiting for that one shining moment, and you go, okay, maybe the next one.
Yeah.
And maybe, it was just bad. And I mean, Greg Gagne, I swear to God, was the star. He didn't talk too long. He didn't he put his dad over a little bit, and he made some funny joke, with Flair and
made fun of Vince.
Yeah, then brought Vern out, and even Vern was funny. Vern when he said, I'll be the first to admit I hated Vince McMahon, and he stood there and he goes, "Is he behind me?" and Hunter and those guys stood up laughing. Stephanie, everybody was just rolling.
Oh yes.
But that was the Hall of Fame was just, it was ghetto.
The Blackjacks.
Yeah, I didn't see the late night one. I just saw the internet one. But the Blackjacks, it was like, come on.
Sherry Martel.
Oh, you can think of so many other people that should, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they do, like, okay, they're in Chicago, so let's do these guys, and we're gonna be in Detroit, and maybe we'll do the Sheik or we'll do stuff like that. But yeah, this one was lame.
What did you think of Sherry? It was a very mixed reaction.
Oh my God, it was brutal. It was like I was starting to sweat watching it. Like you're cringing. Like, come on. Like something wouldn't deliver, and so she'd go, okay, I gotta try something else. And it just got worse, and she kept sinking and didn't know how to get out of it until it was just painful.
In 35 minutes.
Oh my God, that was bad. The best part was when she said, Pat, I've always been jealous of you. You've been able to keep a partner longer than I have. And that was the line of the night.
How about when she was telling a story about Flair and he was trying to
that was good. Yeah, she goes, remember that night in Huntsville? And Flair is laughing the whole evening because he's just loving it. Like the blackjack, he's loving every part of it. And then and finally he's beat red, sweating, laughing his ass off. And his girlfriend, who knows none of these people, keeps looking at him. And he's sweating, and he looks at her, and then he looks at Sherry and gives her the old cut this off in the throat, and everybody's rolling. And then they show Arn, and Arn's laughing with his wife, and she's telling a story about one night he just got her tanked in Huntsville.
So it was way more fun to watch the people in the crowd than actually watch the inductions.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. What can you do? So
that was it.
I'm glad we got that report from you because we sure as hell didn't get it from us last night. So what can you do? Craig, any quick thoughts before we let you go?
Nah. No, I'm good. I've said my piece.
All right.
Well, that's good.
Enjoyed having you guys over today.
No, thank you, Craig. We had a great time.
Yes, Craig, you're a wonderful host with a wonderful wife.
As always.
And you make some goddamn great food.
You do.
I mean that in the most, I don't mean to swear in regards to your pious house or religious house.
Right now, as my gut hangs over my shorts, Craig, you do.
My goal tonight going in was to try and get banned from the Proper household for overeating. And I don't think I succeeded, but I gave it my all.
And Craig, did I not warn you that you may not have enough of certain types of food?
You did, but you know what? We didn't run out of anything.
No, you delivered.
Yeah, but the thing with the pizza was nobody ate that last pizza because it was Hawaiian or whatever the hell you call it, Canadian bacon pineapple.
Dude, did you go away
I was
hungry?
just full.
Disgusting.
No.
Did anybody go away hungry?
No,
I would have ate it.
Thankfully,
yeah,
because
I
of that
couldn't go
last
on one.
batch of cookies where I ate the entire batch.
Brian's whining because he didn't get pepperoni.
Well, I did get some pepperoni, but...
I like when Brian goes into the kitchen, my wife hands him a plate of cookies, and he goes and sits down with it.
That's right. I figured she's going to get another
Hey,
plate.
just this one.
There'll be another plate for everybody else. I can have my own plate, you know what I mean? But anyway.
It was a good time.
So thanks, guys, for being on the show tonight. Buddy will have you on in a couple of weeks. Craig will schedule you as well for some time in the future. Sure,
Coming over to Club Chico this weekend.
That's right. God knows what might happen there. The wife's out of town, so Craig's coming over for, I'm
It's
sure.
my birthday on Saturday.
Well, we'll bake a cake. We'll figure out something for you.
Happy birthday, Craig.
Maybe a Snickers with a candy or the candle.
Maybe
in
we'll
it.
all go over to Buddy's house and I don't know.
Sure. If the lights are off, just keep knocking. We'll be home soon.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, guys. And
okay, thanks, you guys.
We'll talk to you both after a while.
See you guys.
See ya.
Adios. Well, that was from some fun and excitement right there.
Fun and games.
Yeah. We haven't even started really talking about the matches one by one, so I want to get into that. Thank God Buddy talked about the Hall of Fame because we didn't see the webcast, but we did see the USA version of the show. Vince, what did you think of that whole deal?
On the whole, it was just enough to make me think. I went through some grief to watch the show because.
What the hell was that?
Jesus Christ! I just almost died.
Hell was that?
Strange noise in my throat, but I think I'm okay now.
Jesus Christ!
I apologize if everyone that caught me totally off guard. That was very rude.
It's because you're a glutton.
It may be. That may have been an extra popper stuck in my mouth or something. But
some people, when they are
dying,
I won't go on. Just go ahead.
We'll just pretend that never happened. Oh, Hall of Fame. It was. I went through some grief watching this because, long story short, by the time we were done at Club Chico's here yesterday, it was still 2 hours until the Hall of Fame. However, if I had gone home, I have DirecTV, so I got the East Coast feed, so the Hall of Fame was over. So I ended up hanging out watching King Kong for a while until the Hall of Fame came on, and then once it came on, I was like, I wish I had just waited for the DVD. Because they took Bret Hart's 42-minute speech and edited it down to 4 minutes. They had Gene Okerlund out there, and it was parts of that were okay, particularly the blooper reel for Gene. The Eddie stuff was, I teared up. I don't know how anyone couldn't, but on the whole, I really want to see this. I want to see the DVD version of this now, because I feel like I feel like I got ripped off. I feel like there's a ton of the show I didn't get to see.
How do you get ripped off on a free show?
I put my time into watching it, and I didn't get the entire thing. Instead of, I want to see Brett's speech.
Well, maybe you can ask Vince for a refund.
I will.
And he can give you an hour of your life back. I'm not exactly sure how he would do it, but
we'll work something out.
They did butcher everything, but that's pretty much what you sort of have to come to expect. They only really got an hour, and they wanted to... I could say that they could have given more time to Eddie and Brett because they didn't need to have Gene Okerlund on there, but they did because they wanted to get Hulk Hogan on the air.
That's true.
And some of that was to build up for next year's WrestleMania, which they're going to try and do Hogan and Austin again. That should be very clear to everybody watching the show. But, yeah, Brett's speech got cut. They didn't note, I don't believe. They may have. Nut Bunny's actually said that he expected me to know everything, and I read it and I laughed because... First off, I don't know everything, and especially on weekends like this, I will be the first person to admit that I know almost nothing.
Yeah.
There's just too much stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up this morning, and I don't think there's been a minute that I have not had some sort of thing to do with wrestling, except in the commute. And even that, I was discussing the show with you and Buddy.
Yeah.
It's been wrestling every single solitary minute that I've been awake today.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's all incoming news.
Yes, and...
So there's something going on.
I still don't have, but anyway, the point was, that I was trying to make was, I don't know if they mentioned that the Hall of Fame was going to go 5 minutes over, but it did.
I never caught that fact.
I set the TiVo, and thank God we were watching it live, because the TiVo just shut off about 30 seconds into Brett's speech.
Yes.
So I'm sure there's some very, very unhappy people that didn't get to see the end of it, but that's WWE for you. So I watched it, and I liked Brett's speech, what we saw. I liked the Eddie thing. I don't know. There were certain things about it. I'm not going to pretend. The constant shots of Stephanie made me want to vomit all over the place. Any shots of the McMahon family. The photograph I saw today of the Guerrero family sitting next to Johnny Ace.
Oh, yes.
Made me want to stab a hole in my computer screen.
Yeah.
And even really... I shouldn't even really complain about this because, I don't know, but I've seen so much exploitation that I don't trust anything.
Yeah.
But the constant reminders that Eddie Guerrero coming up, Eddie Guerrero coming up, Eddie Guerrero coming up, it was too much for me. I understand Eddie Guerrero's coming up. You don't have to, I don't know. I distrust everything about them in any regards to Eddie Guerrero at this point.
That's totally reasonable.
Everything that happens involving him, I'm skeptical of.
That's totally 100% reasonable.
But the people involved, not counting the McMahons or the production team or whatever like that, and even the production, well, whatever. Let's just... The Guerrero family, Vicky, Benoit, Ray, they're still again. It'll never end.
6 months after his death,
It'll
still
never end.
Getting their names mixed up.
Ray and Chavo and
Chavo
Benoit
was the man.
And Vicky, all those guys, just the biggest thumbs up possible for those people.
Yes.
Even on the stuff tonight when they brought out all the legends and Vicky was out there, it really was a great thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, WWE is just like the best and worst of life sometimes.
That is a good way to put it.
And with Eddie Guerrero, it was every single possible, it was every shade of it.
The extreme best and the extreme worst.
Yeah.
But, on the whole, it was a chance. I'd like to think it meant a lot to Vicky, but it was a chance for the fans to say, thank you for sharing your husband with us. And we appreciate the fact that you were there. We know because of the movie and everything. Everyone knows about Eddie at this point, but we know that because of you, Eddie was able to go on and become a big star. You were there to support him. You were there to drag him out of his depths. You were there to stand by him, and we thank you and appreciate you for that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero passes away. I don't even know why I'm getting into this rant, but it reminds me of something from the show. Eddie Guerrero passes away, and you just ask yourself, why? Mm-hmm. Why did such a great man, loved his family, cleaning his life up? Got the same thing about Chris Candido, a lot of guys. Why?
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem fair. And then you have the deal with Vince McMahon tonight where Vince does a mock prayer to the Lord. He says, God, I don't like you.
You don't like me.
You don't like me. But, I have just, regardless of everything I've done and the fact that we don't get along, I've been very successful, very affluent. I've had a great life. I've got a Herculean physique. And really just the answer is, it's just that's the way things are.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
There
is no rhyme or reason to anything.
They're making a remake of the Poseidon Adventure, and there's a line in the trailer where after the boat gets turned over and they're all struggling to get to the surface and live, and someone just says there is no fairness in who lives and who dies.
No, there's not.
And it's true.
Some people live, some people die.
It just effing sucks. I have a family friend who was in town a few weeks ago. She was in Thailand she was in Thailand on the beach when the tsunami hit. And if the tsunami had hit exactly 24 hours earlier, she'd been wiped out and killed. It so happened that, the day after Christmas, she went up to a different resort, and as it was, she was hit by the tsunami and was left hanging onto a tree as the water roared past her. But she's obviously alive and around today. And there's no logic for that. There's no rhyme or reason. She didn't earn it. She was in the right place at the right time.
Just things happen.
And you say, that sucks, and you move on.
I could quote Ecclesiastes or something like that, or I could just quote Interview with a Vampire, where Lestat just goes, God kills indiscriminately, and so shall we. And that's it. I
shall quote the great Quentin Rampage Jackson when he said, shit happens and shit.
That's right. There's your answer to all these questions. And this weekend, it really hammered home when you see all this stuff for Eddie Guerrero, and it's so sad for his wife and everything like that, and so unfair. And then there's the man who exploited it for all he was worth and is sitting there laughing at the fact that he has defied God his whole life.
Well,
living the high life.
Well, since we're going down this track, his exact line was, here I am, God, with a body you never intended for a 60-year-old to have.
That was quite the line.
He's doing it by, treading down the same path that cost Eddie his life.
$49 million in his pocket this year.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why people hope for karma. People hope for comeuppance for heaven and hell, because
there has to be
things just aren't fair here on Earth. But with that said, it was an odd little segue on this show.
Let's talk about the pro wrestling show.
Let's get on to Wrestlemania here. The Wrestlemania show from Chicago, saved by Chicago. God bless Chicago.
In many ways.
Speaking of God, he should bless Chicago, even though they will indiscriminately be wiped out by meteor at some point or something crazy.
Another fire.
Shit happens and shit. But I should note that I just looked at the report, and the first line I saw was, and I quote, I'm getting ready to blow Buddy Wayne. Apparently when I was in the kitchen getting food, Buddy hijacked the computer.
He did this a couple times throughout the night. Apparently you didn't catch them all.
I must not have. I may catch them as I'm recapping this report.
Yes, you disappeared in the kitchen for several minutes, as you tend to do it occasionally at the pay-per-view parties. And
every 5 minutes.
Yes, and Buddy leapt in your chair and held up his typing finger and went to work.
First show, or first match, Big Show and Kane faced Chris Masters and Carlito. We'd predicted Masters and Carlito would win. I actually believe I predicted in the newsletter they would either win here or on Raw the next night.
Okay.
I have not been proven wrong yet.
I see. The way to cover your bases.
That's right. Well, not really.
You could still be
wrong.
You could still be wrong.
I could still be very wrong. But, it was a opening match. It was nothing special. It was not horrid. Big Show and Kane won. They teased dissension between Chris Masters and Carlito. God knows why. It's either two guys nobody cares about win the belts, or two guys nobody care about have a fight and nobody cares.
Yeah.
So
yeah, decent. It was decent. Nothing more, nothing less. Big Show was still huge. They did light the city of Chicago on fire when Kane came out. They had the skyline back there, and I thought, well, that's nice. There actually was a great fire in the city once upon a time, but whatever. And the SmackDown,
Did you find that tasteless or something like that, Vince?
In the grand scheme of things this company has done in the past 6 months, no. Looking at it, trying to with one foot in the real world, as I occasionally tend to do, well, very occasionally, let's be honest, but it may have been a bad idea.
I got a request for everybody on the board. I don't know if it's just my internet, but it seems our site often runs very, very slow. And I want to know if anybody else notices this or if it's just my computer. And any of you tech guys perhaps can help us out here. We have tried many different things to optimize the website, but I hit this goddamn login button and I wait for 5 minutes and nothing happens sometimes, and it drives me nuts.
I thought it was my machine or my home network or something, so I'm actually kind of relieved it's not me. But yes, I have noticed it.
God damn, that drives me crazy.
2-3 weeks or so.
Somebody help me out here. This site is growing and we need this thing to be fast, and the goddamn thing is slow and it pisses me off. Let's move on here. The next little deal, Coach was backstage. Thank God he was not doing commentary. They had Ross and Lawler for the Raw team. They had Cole and Taz for the SmackDown team. And during the Money in the Bank match, they had all 4 guys at the same time, which actually did not
It was not nearly the disaster I was anticipating.
It did not turn into the clusterfuck that we saw at Survivor Series that must never occur again.
Yeah. They also did bring out Joey Styles for the Edge and Foley match, and he did fine.
Yeah.
It was, I think it was just Styles and Lawler once that match got going. And
they wanted him for the Oh My God spot during the fire. That was basically it.
Pretty much, and they did him a favor, and they let him do the Oh My God spot, and then he went away again. But
why is this site so damn slow?
Well, I'm
afraid...
still
waiting for that login button to activate that I pushed 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm afraid there's only 2 people to question about that, and I think one of them is in Germany.
No, one of them's back home.
Oh, is he home? Okay.
He's home. It's driving me nuts. So then we had Matt Hardy, Finley. Oh, I didn't even talk about the coach thing. He interviewed Sean. Sean, he wanted to know, do you regret what you did with Vince? And Sean was like, I never regret telling the truth.
Yes.
I cried with laughter. Cried with laughter. And then he said, no one should expect a 5-star match tonight. It will be brutal and ugly.
Nice. Thanks, Sean. We appreciate the...
Thank you for the tip, yes.
I was looking forward to it, but I will now change my focus to something else.
Then we had the Money in the Bank, Matt Hardy, Finley, Lashley, Flair, Shelton, and Rob Van Dam for the, I guess, title shot at some point during this year, probably at the ECW pay-per-views. The man who won was Rob Van Dam. Every crazy, wacky spot in the book. Shelton did some awesome stuff, which will in no way elevate him in this world.
Yeah.
Rob Van Dam was very well liked, as was Ric Flair. They were the 2 most popular guys. Flair sold a horrible injury early, which they held up the dreaded X sign.
Actually, 2 of them.
That needs to
SmackDown
stop.
and Raw ref each held up the X.
Save the damn X for when someone's actually hurt.
Yeah.
So what if he really did get hurt and they held up the X and everybody just came out for the joke? It's crying wolf.
I wonder if at this point they actually have a real X sign that's not the X. Maybe it's the field goal sign or something. They have a new sign for when someone actually is injured.
That's right.
I don't know.
So anyway, it ended up with there were 2 ladders set up. Rob Van Dam was on one. Shelton was on another. And who was the other guy?
Matt Hardy was
Matt
also
Hardy, because he died.
Because he effing died.
He flew over the top and hit his neck on the apron. I hope he survived. It was brutal.
There was not an update. It was a side of his head as opposed to the top of it, so I guess that's good. But, it was not good times. It was sad times for young Matt Hardy. And Rob was still up there alone on the ladder, and he climbed up and got the belt, or the briefcase.
That's right. So go ahead and talk about the match.
Well, it was, I don't want to say clusterific, but it was, it was spotrific. It was everyone hitting hitting guys with ladders and doing big dives off the ladders. Rob hit a frog splash off the very top of a ladder on Finley. The biggest spot of the match was actually kind of hard to explain, but Shelton last year, everyone remembers the spot where he used the ladder as a ramp and ran up it and hit a clothesline or something. And he did a modified version of that this year with the ladder leaning against the ropes, and Shelton ran up the ladder like a ramp and then did a big flip dive onto about 700 pounds of people out there to catch him, so that was smart, but that was awfully cool. That was the big spot of the match. Everyone got a chance to hit a finisher, just stuff going on all the time, and they did at one point tease Flair's injury after, I believe it was a superplex off the ladder, if I remember right, and he was taken to the back and then returned about 5 minutes later, and Finley was alone in the ring, and he stared at Flair coming back, and everyone thought we'd get Flair and Finley, and we did for a very short time, and it was great. And they teased Flair would win, and then someone came to take care of him. Oh, the other key spot that was great, right before the finish, Rob was going up on the ladder alone. He was alone in the ring on the ladder. He was climbing up to win it, and Shelton did a springboard onto the ladder to cut him off. And as cool as it probably looked in real life, watching it on TV, the camera totally missed him doing the springboard, and we just saw him fly through the air and land on the ladder. Like Superman or something.
He is an amazing person.
It was great.
Amazing human being. But like I said, won't mean a goddamn thing.
No.
Sorry for that long transition there where we had to rely on Vince, but...
you should always apologize when I'm left alone.
I immediately
to me and the readers.
Shut off an email here to Tony. Try and get the damn site fixed. This is driving me nuts. I can't even do the show when something like this annoys me so much. It's like WrestleMania Sunday, we can't even use the website because the thing ain't working.
That's bad. It
drives me fucking crazy. But let's try and get on with the show here, and I'll try and ignore it for now. Josh was trying to interview Okerlund. Out came Orton, Yeehaw. The one good promo of the year Orton had on SmackDown. He ain't going to have another one for 365 days because this one sucked. Batista showed up, looked so dapper, and threatened to return soon and win the belt, which was the happiest I've ever been to hear a threat. We need Big Dave back.
We do need Big Dave back.
I miss him.
He's just Big Dave. He kind of snuck up on you because he was in Evolution and you knew he'd win the belt and you thought, well, it's good for business, but you didn't really realize how great Big Dave was until he was gone.
Yeah.
At least I didn't.
Well, you never notice anything. So
that's also true.
The site just loaded, sort of. I don't even know what you can describe what just happened, but thank God, now that 150 people have just left the site simultaneously because the goddamn thing doesn't work, now it's starting to go a little fast.
That's probably what happened, actually.
That drives me crazy.
I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do.
Help me out, people. I need somebody that can help us out here.
Anyone who understands these
Anybody
wacky
has
computers.
a clue about speeding this up in some way? We've called GoDaddy, and these idiots are just clueless. There's like, oh, well, there's nothing you can do about this. We're like, I'll pay you whatever you want.
You hired the company whose spokesperson is Candice Michelle.
Well, yeah.
And you're now surprised you're having problems with them.
Fuck off, Vince.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're making a ton of money because they're buying fucking big ads at the Super Bowl, so they must be doing all right.
Oh, that's true.
Chris Benoit and JBL for the U.S. title. This was not the show stealer.
No, I was a fool when I suggested this maybe the best in the show. This was perhaps the 6th best match in the show. It was not even that good. It would not have been the best match on a typical SmackDown.
Yeah.
It was okay. They did some stuff. JBL had a roll up and grabbed the ropes and got the pin. And
it was one of those matches where the finish just came about 5 or 8 minutes too early. Like, they just seemed like they were starting to get going, and then all of a sudden, he put on the crossface, and JBL rolled and grabbed the ropes and pinned him and snuck out and was the champion.
There was a point here where JBL was doing the Eddie mannerisms to try and get heat, I guess. And
well, it worked, because then when Benoit did them later...
everyone went crazy.
Yeah.
And we do know that JBL and Eddie were close. But the point I was going to make was, when he tried to do the rolling suplexes, you never really realized how hard that move must be until you watch JBL try to swivel his hips over.
No.
He looked like a giraffe on its back.
I've got to stop you there. That move is not difficult to execute.
I think I've done it.
Well, you were probably slower than JBL. But the point is, the key here is one of two things. Either JBL is fantastically unathletic.
Okay.
Or he was doing it so slowly as to hammer home exactly what he's doing.
He was
like,
doing,
hey, dicks.
I am being a cheap ripoff of Eddie Guerrero.
That's right.
That's an interesting thought.
That's actually what I thought it was.
That's
Because
entirely possible.
Like, nobody could possibly do this.
He swung
so slowly.
his enormous giant legs straight up into the air, swinging him around like a TV antenna. Just very awkward.
Then we had Edge versus Foley. Joey Styles was in the booth for this one, as we noticed, and they didn't do a great job building up to it. And like I said on Saturday, I'm not going to apologize for what we said about the show yesterday.
No.
No change. But this match, unlike most of the promos and everything like that, this so delivered.
This was what it had to be.
Yeah. It was, even this was maybe cut a little bit short.
I would have had no problem. Well, I would have had no problem with this going longer. That being said, it did end at the perfect point. They did their big spot, and it ended.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen all the time.
They did everything. They had Foley wrapped himself in barbed wire. I was wondering why he had a blue flannel instead of his red one.
He was wearing about 5 shirts.
It was hiding some barbed wire underneath his blue flannel, which, of course, was over his red flannel. So Edge speared that, and then his shoulder got all cut open. He gigged it, and then ended up bleeding from the head. He took a big something or other, like a back suplex, I believe, on the thumbtack.
It was a giant back suplex.
Thumbtacks sticking out all over him. And actually, they didn't even clear up all the thumbtacks because there were guys with thumbtacks sticking out of him the rest of the night.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be happy about that.
I bet they love that one. But it's WrestleMania. You don't feel that kind of shit until the next day. But, yep, there were thumbtacks in all over Edge's back. They used the barbed wire bat. They teased fire.
Oh, yes, they teased it first,
and
very early.
I'm thinking, you ain't going to see fire tonight.
Yeah.
For sure you ain't going to see, because first they sprayed lighter fluid all over Foley. And it's like, this man is not going to be lit on fire.
Yeah.
They did end up lighting the table on fire. Both guys, I think it was Edge, spearing Foley off the apron.
Off the apron, through the burning table.
But he went through the ropes, so they both went through the burning table.
Mm-hmm.
And it's lighter fluid on a table, so it immediately went out.
Yeah.
This really... It's one of those spots where it's a whole hell of a lot less dangerous than it really looks to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be going through a flaming table.
Now,
but
I know nothing about lighter fluid.
I would go through a flaming table before I took an unprotected chair shot to the head. I will tell you that right now.
I don't know about that one.
I will tell you that.
But I have a fear of fire.
hesitation.
I've seen people playing with lighters, and I'd have to leave. So I've got kind of a natural fear of fire there.
I actually lit a fire in my hand once, and you freaked out.
That sounds so. I don't remember, but that sounds like
I
something I would do.
laughed.
Yeah.
I was like, what a pussy.
Well, yes.
What, am I going to spontaneously combust because I put a little lighter fluid in my hand and lit it?
I don't know.
Yeah, you
So
don't
here's
know.
my
That's
question.
the key.
They doused Foley with the lighter fluid, and then about 20 minutes later, he went through the table. What?
Well, I'm sure they probably, like with Earthquake, had 2 bags
Okay,
of snakes.
that's what I was going to suggest.
I'm thinking, yes, he was not covered in real lighter fluid when he went through the goddamn flaming table.
That's good.
Yes. So, I also did not like when he wrapped barbed wire around his hand and put the claw in both Lita and Edge, and Lita was bleeding all over her mouth. Enough of the bleeding women, okay?
It happened once. Well, twice.
Too much now.
Yeah. I don't think
It
it'll
was
happen
too
for a
much
while.
really on the first one. If somebody on the board mentioned, just use fake blood, which she may have, in which case I'll still be more happy. But there's just something about the visual of a beautiful woman with blood streaming out of her face that just, I ain't down with that.
Well, you're not supposed to be, but...
I know, but still, even if she's a heel, I don't want to see it. So.
Yeah, well, the good news is you won't for a long time now.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Really? I could have said that on Raw about
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
Okay, you're right. They'll leave Lita in a pool of Rome.
I don't want this to be a trend.
Okay.
So, that was that. This was the very definition of a hardcore match.
Yes.
If your friends want to know, what's a hardcore match? You show them this one.
This was good garbage wrestling.
Yeah. Booker T and Sharmell versus the Boogeyman. There was a man with a sign that said, I paid $750 to see the Boogeyman. And this is what he saw. An ungodly, horrific match. Boogeyman sucks when he's healthy. He's got a torn bicep. He just
sucked more.
couldn't do a goddamn thing. He took a couple bumps. He sold a lot. He couldn't even do the pump handle slam. So he just did a spine buster, I guess. What did he do? What was the finish?
The tree slam.
Tree slam, that's right. And, it was nothing. Sharmell was never in the ring, except for the very beginning, and she immediately got tagged out.
Yeah. The big spot of the match was Boogeyman putting worms in his mouth and then kissing Sharmell, who, of course, like any sane person would do, ran screaming to the back.
And that was...
And then he pinned Booker with a tree slam, and that was that.
Fantastically gross, I will go as far as to say. So, yeah, that was disgusting.
It really was.
I will say that. Trish faced Mickie James. This was interesting.
This was odd.
Keith was at the show, and as we were driving to Buddy's, approximately the time we got lost, I got a text from Keith, and it basically said Cena's already getting booed out of the building. This was 40 minutes before the show started, 50 minutes before the show started. And, they showed Cena a little bit earlier in the night, and there were a lot of boos and that sort of thing.
He got booed at the Hall of Fame.
Also some boos for Hunter. But Mickie came out, and the match began. Mickey's looking better, both physically and in the ring.
Okay.
Until the finish. Then she
I
became the Ohio Valley Mickey.
I can forgive him for one move.
I can't. It's the finish of the main spot in the main match of her
WrestleMania?
career on WrestleMania. It's a hard one to forgive.
No,
but
Brock did that.
Yeah.
No, of course,
he's
he is also Brock Lesnar.
You dick. But anyway, I apologize for that random dick that I had to throw out. You never know when I might have to just whip out a random dick. So, anyway, this was a match where it started out, people booed Mickie, people cheered Trish. Then about maybe 15 fans in the 17,000-seat building chanted, "Let's go, Mickie."
Mm-hmm.
It's very calm, relaxed. And talk about catching some momentum.
Something happened.
Something
There's
happened.
something in the air in the Chicago, but by the end, Mickie James was the most popular wrestler on the card.
And it's funny. No, she wasn't. But she was very, very popular. But
You're right. We can never exaggerate on this show. That would be horrible.
no, it wouldn't, because when we do exaggerate, that takes the... you just don't understand, Vince. Just try and be truthful as often as possible.
I see.
The sarcasm has to be such obvious sarcasm. Otherwise, we get weird emails asking us wacky questions.
Well, that's true.
So, anyway, this was What the hell was I saying?
We were talking about how popular Mickie James was.
You distracted me.
And now I've put you back on course.
Okay, so, yeah, Mickie was very, very popular, and... Oh, that's right. So anyway, she's very popular, and Lawler's trying to explain why. And he goes, maybe the people relate to Mickie James. And I'm like, what is there about this woman that 17,000 random fans would relate to? Stalking a hot girl? Crazy?
Could be it.
A shrine for Trish Stratus in their room? There's nothing that I could figure out. So I think Bernard was there during this match. And at one point, Trish set Mickie up, I believe, for the Stratisfaction. And Mickie just grabbed her vagina.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, Bernard's like, now I know why they like her.
That's right.
He was all of a sudden down with this whole Mickie James thing. And Trish was like, what the fuck just happened there? And Mickie went for the Stratisfaction, and, well...
She didn't hit it.
They... You know, it's interesting, because before the show, Buddy's like, I'll bet we show up at Craig's house and there's a game of Twister all set up. He thought we were gonna, all a bunch of sweaty, large, fat men doing Twister, and...
That's what he envisioned parties like at Craig's house.
That's right. But... That's basically what happened. They played Twister in the ropes. They were all fucked up in the ropes.
They were all fucked up in the ropes.
It was like a pride match where something went horribly awry by the ropes. They needed handlers to put them back into the ring. And everyone was like, you fucked up. But Mickie just smiled like, I'm crazy, I fucked up on purpose. And then she hit the chick kick, and it was a lame one. But my God, did Trish ever take a bump for that move?
Yeah.
She wanted to put over her own move, basically.
That's true.
And Mickie pinned her. And the place just went ballistic. They totally forgot the fuck up and just went crazy because she won. And that was that. Very booberific match.
Well, it was. There
2 3/4 heaving breasts, I would give this.
It cannot be a mistake or an accident what happened, but the last shot you saw was, first there was Trish bent over, exposing cleavage, seething at Mickie up the ramp. Then it cut to Mickie, who was celebrating and jumping up and down, and then the very, very next camera shot was backstage on Vince McMahon's flexing chest.
Oh, that's right.
And I screamed.
Yeah, we saw too much of Vince's body tonight. This is where Vince cut the promo on
the fake prayer.
The Lord. Dear God. Actually, the promo, basically, everybody got very, very quiet. It was Vince,
It was the
Linda,
McMahon family.
Shane and Stephanie, and Vince said, we're going to do the first, we've never done this before, obviously.
That's no kidding.
The McMahon family prayer. He puts his head down. Everything's just very quiet.
They were all getting on one knee and then the other because they didn't know what to do.
Everybody's very quiet, head down, and all of a sudden, it's just quiet for a while, and then you hear, God! That's how the prayer started.
Mm-hmm.
God! I don't like you. You don't like me. And even Craig was laughing at this point, just because the absurdity of this. And he cut this promo, and he's talking about his Herculean physique. And Shane and Steph both look over like, what the hell are you talking about, Dad? And he finished his speech and did the maniacal laugh, and I just thought, we've said it all about Vince McMahon, but I got to say this part again. There'll never be another.
We're going miss him is the wrong word, but we're going to notice when he is not there anymore.
A void will be created by the loss of Vince McMahon from this world at some point.
Yes.
They're just some guys. Never be another Hunter S. Thompson.
No.
And there's never going to be another Vince McMahon.
Two insane men.
Just absolutely just nuts.
One of a kind.
There'll never be another Iron Sheik.
No.
Really never be another Ric Flair.
Absolutely not.
To me, that's just a sign of a great man. When you're just so one of a kind, you're just so completely you.
That no one else can duplicate it?
Just never. There can never be another. Like a lot of wrestlers, everyone's looking to be the next so-and-so. Mm-hmm. Look at every wrestler, you'll see who they want to be.
Yeah.
They're just some guys that attain the level of dudes that just... They obviously had tried to pattern themselves after somebody else, but they became so themselves.
Yes.
So this...
They set the standard for whatever it is they are.
Hulk Hogan's another one. Jesus Christ, there'll never be another Hulk Hogan.
There'll never be another Hulk Hogan.
So anyway, Vince, that's really what I got out of that whole thing there. Just a madman. Then we had Undertaker, and by the way, Now that the charges have been dropped, Vince McMahon's back at Tanzabar.
Oh, yes. He had a Hall of Fame tan.
Good God. He may have pouted in the tanning booth after she turned him down this time.
That's right.
So anyway, Undertaker faced Mark Henry. It was every Undertaker versus large man at WrestleMania match you've ever seen.
With a box outside.
Large man never went down. Undertaker did a bunch of bullshit. The big man got the heat. The big man foolishly went up top for 10 punches in the corner, took the power bomb, and Undertaker ended up doing the WrestleMania dive, which is over the top ropes to the floor. This time he went over the top ropes and over the casket. Mark Henry did not catch him.
Think about that.
I should note that nobody caught anybody in the ladder in the bank match. People were diving off the post. No, it was the opener. Carlito and Kane and everybody.
No, that's right.
Kane went off the top, and it was like everyone.
They parted like the sea. Yes.
That guy, and everyone crashed and burned. But yeah, so the Undertaker, he won this match with a tombstone pile driver, which was terrifying.
Yes, it is.
That's really telling you something too. When I thought it was the first one ever, and you reminded me that they supposedly did it just.
A month ago.
Yeah.
Then he put Henry in the box and he won. And that was it. Other than the big dive, there was no point to watching any of this.
No.
I thought even, it's Undertaker WrestleMania. I thought there'd be some big fancy entrance, but I was mistaken.
Craig had a good party tonight.
He did.
I just had to throw that in there. I am still feeling the after effects of said party. Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels in a no-holds-barred match. What's to say about it?
Well, it was what we expected. They used every gimmick they could think of, including 6 men interfering.
This is what I got to say about it. A lot of great wrestlers in WWE. About a year and a half ago, it was always a big argument. Who's the best worker in WWE? And always like a toss-up. 3 men. It was Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, and
Benoit.
Chris Benoit. These 3 men, they traded off week by week. It's like they'd always find a way to have a great match with somebody they shouldn't have, and you're like, oh, this week they're the best ever. Now it's just pretty much...
Benoit.
Yeah, until tonight.
Until tonight.
Benoit wrestled a mannequin on SmackDown, that being Mark Henry.
Animal,
I'm sorry.
You got your giant immobile men confused.
I got the mannequins messed up. The Undertaker wrestled a mannequin as well. So there were 3 mannequins fought this weekend. The Benoit mannequin match with the Animal, the Undertaker mannequin match with Mark Henry, and the Shawn Michaels mannequin match with Vince McMahon. And of the 3, the Shawn Michaels match was the best.
Yes.
Now, granted, it was much, much longer, had a lot of gimmicks and such like that. I will say that...
Text message.
I hate that sound. I will say that my prediction of Vince McMahon tearing 80 muscles, to my knowledge, did not occur.
Nothing happened as far as we know.
But I don't really have an update at this point, so I guess we shall see. But I mean, this was like, I don't know what to rate it. It's just...
There was a lot of matches tonight that were just weird. It was a good show, but it was a very weird show.
There were a lot of matches that it was hard for me to get a grasp on how do you really rate a match like this. You know what I mean? I try and do star ratings. I don't take them horribly seriously or anything like that because it is all subjective or objective.
Subjective.
I consider them objective when I give them, but you're right. In general, subjective. But, this is a hard match to judge because Vince McMahon didn't do a goddamn thing. It was all gimmicks, but it was very well put together. The place went nuts for the finish. And, you could give it 3.5, 3.25, even 4 really if you wanted to. But I don't know. Whatever you want to give this goddamn match above about 3 stars, I don't care.
This match was an acquired taste. Some people liked it a lot, I'm sure, and there are a lot of people who I thought it was crap.
Who?
I don't know anyone in particular. You will see people on board who will say this match was not very good.
Well, let's wait, because we don't know.
All right.
You assume that.
The only thing...
You may be right.
The only negative thing I can really say, and we did talk about this earlier, was at the finish of the match was Shawn went for the super kick and then changed his mind, and he spent the next 5 minutes laying one hell of an ass whooping on Vince McMahon.
I was thinking about this when I did the recap for our site. If I didn't know better, which I don't, I would think this is like they're writing off the Vince McMahon character. He's dead.
It's entirely possible.
He cannot appear tomorrow. I forbid it.
Yeah.
I will shut down WWE. if he shows up tomorrow. I don't know how, but somehow I will. He cannot show up tomorrow. It's just it's impossible. He took the most immense beating. Vince McMahon, say what you will about the guy, but he
will sacrifice himself.
Vince is an odd bully.
Mm-hmm. Vince
is a bully, but at the same time, he'll take an ass whooping.
This was a grand ass whooping.
The one in particular was when he took a ladder shot to the head.
He leaned into it.
Every man in the world would put up their hand.
Mm-hmm.
Vince just leaned his forehead forward.
Yes.
The ladder sliced off the top of his head. He was scalped.
Yes.
Tatanka was in the back on, my people.
Yeah.
He scalped him. And blood was pouring out of the top of his head. And the match continued.
Oh, yes.
Shawn kept hitting him with shit.
He destroyed a chair.
The Spirit Squad ran in earlier. I got to get this out of the way. Then Shane McMahon ran in. Shawn, of course, beat up the Spirit Squad so bad they just retreated and never returned. He handcuffed Shane to the ropes and made him watch the whole deal.
Well, he also beat the hell out of Shane with a stick.
That's right.
He got Shane handcuffed to the ropes, grabbed the stick. He did the Shane McMahon dance way better than Shane's ever done it, and then just unloaded.
Pardon my expression, kids, he beat the motherfuck.
Oh, yes.
Out of Shane McMahon.
Whatever anger Shawn Michaels has ever had in his 30-some years on this earth, every crime that's ever been committed against him, every sin that he's perceived to have been committed against him.
Every shot he took from Shane in their feud.
Every shot from, Shane and many others, because he took this damn stick and just laid a whooping on the younger McMahon.
An ass whooping unparalleled. And then he put him...
He killed his dad.
Handcuffed him to the ropes, killed Vince with shot after shot after shot. He ended up putting a ladder up for an elbow, off the ladder threw Vince in a table, but then changed his mind. He wanted a bigger ladder.
He went and got a bigger ladder.
They claimed the ladder was 30 feet tall, which would have been the size of King Kong. Perhaps you just watched King Kong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think his ladder was that tall.
The construction people we were in the room with were saying it was 12 to 15.
These men create cabinets. I'll take their word for it.
It was a big Horkin ladder.
It was a 12 to 15-foot ladder. He put Vince on the table with a trash can over his head, so Vince could not see or protect himself. He came off with a flying elbow off way up, 13 feet probably.
Mm-hmm.
Put Vince through the table, crushed the can so that they couldn't even get the can off Vince.
Yeah.
The ref immediately put the one fist up in the air to say, he is not dead.
Maybe that is the new X-Line we were talking about, the one fist.
Well, the one fist means alive.
Oh, it does, okay.
The two fists means something's fucked up.
I see.
So out came the EMTs to, this was storyline EMTs,
yeah.
And maybe real-life EMTs, because you never know when one might become two. So Shawn's like, get the fuck out of here, you.
He kicked away the EMTs.
He did a bunch of crotch chops, which got an enormous pop. The DX crotch chops.
There was a DX chant trying to get started, but they were so excited they couldn't get a rhythm for a chant going. So it was just DDX, DX, XXDX.
Yeah, and he, I gotta go back real quick to the Foley match, because it just reminded me of this. When Edge put Foley through the flaming table, it was almost like everybody knew now was the time to chant holy shit, but they were so holy shitted that they just forgot.
They're so legitimately impressed.
Holy mouthed it silently to themselves.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get the big holy shit chant.
There was just however many thousand people gasping at once.
So then Shawn stood up Vince, who was a corpse at this point, and he said, you are going to watch as I kick your teeth down your throat.
Oh, yes.
He backed up. Vince leaned his chin forward. Shawn super kicked him right in the fucking mouth.
Knocked his teeth down his damn throat.
Pinned him 1, 2, 3. And as I recap it, I just give the whole damn thing 4 stars, really.
In hindsight, because at the time people didn't know what to make of it.
It seemed...
You're not used to seeing the babyface. It's certainly not a babyface like Shawn. Just go crazy wacko on a helpless victim.
Yeah.
And that's what Shawn did here. But in hindsight, it was violence in its most beautiful form.
If you look at the story, it was a perfectly rational thing for Shawn to do, really.
Well,
and
we don't really encourage this kind of thing, but
yeah. And we should know that this match got almost half hour, and the Hunter match got almost half hour.
We'll get to that.
And that tells you everything you need to know about this promotion. But so they put Vince on the stretcher afterwards, wheeled him up the ramp, and as he was going, he held up the 2 middle fingers. And I don't want to start any rumors here because I don't know anything I will preface this by saying, right now, I don't know anything.
This is a rumor.
No, I don't even know if it's a rumor. It happened,
Okay.
but I don't know what it means. Sean was going up the ramp after DXing the shit out of everything, and there's a hot blonde a couple rows back by the rail. He grabbed her and kissed her right on the lips. And Buddy's like, that was the girl he was sitting next to last night. I don't know if it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was very strange. This was not his wife.
Right.
And now you could say, Brian, don't be bringing up things like this. But Sean did this in front of the million people that bought this show.
Mm-hmm.
This was not a...
This is not a clandestine meeting at a bar late at night.
No.
This was on live pay-per-view of the biggest show of the year.
He kissed her, he looked at the camera, he smiled, he walked up the ramp, and thus it is open for public discussion.
Yes.
So anyway, I thought I would throw that out there. I don't know what it means, like I said, but who knows. Angle, Orton, and Ray for the WWE title. Tells you everything you need to know about SmackDown, the fact they did not give this a lot of time.
Yeah.
Very good three-way. A lot of good spots. A lot of, only one spot that I recall that got fucked up. Ray tried the 619 around the post and fell down. Everybody knew it, gave him hell. Crowd was most solidly behind Angle.
Yeah, they were booing Ray.
No, they were booing everybody. They were booing anyone who was not Angle. It was not so much they were booing Ray, because we saw when they actually booed Cena.
That's true.
They just wanted Angle to win, and when somebody else was winning on him, they didn't like that. That's basically what happened. So it was a good match, and they did the finish where Angle tapped out both guys, but there was no ref.
Mm-hmm.
It sets up automatic rematches, obviously. And then Ray ended up hitting the 619 in an awesome springboard Hurricane Rana on Randy Orton, got the pin. Angle flipped out.
Mm-hmm.
Ray celebrated. He was so happy. Went up on the ramp, celebrated with Chavo and Vicky, who were also very happy. And it was a great moment. It was a great entrance. He had the Aztec headdress.
The Rock Band.
Yeah, the Rock Band. Everything except a live virgin sacrifice, which lack of virgins, I think, is the reason we didn't get that. But that was the great entrance. And I don't know, it was just like, it should have been so much more.
It should have been so much more. We talked about how they've killed us for the past 8 weeks or more. The match itself, it was good, but it's like you said, I think you said about Benoit JBL, this one needed 5 or 6 more minutes. It felt like they were just getting going.
Yeah.
It felt like they were just building to the really hot finish, and then it was over and done. For me, it came off as flat. It came off as, well, yeah, Ray's a new champion. Okay, I got it. That's fine. It was not Benoit winning at Mania. It was not Eddie beating Brock. It was just another title change.
I will say this, though. We live in somewhat of a wrestling bubble. Someone accused me of really living in a wrestling bubble today because a lot of popular culture things I'm oblivious to, but that's by design. I still would not watch a whole bunch of movies and TV shows if I didn't do this stuff because it just doesn't interest me.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we see all this stuff and we have these thoughts and these feelings and we express them here. But when Ray won, we were in a room with 11 people and at least 3 of them jumped out of their chair and went, yeah! And that's the only time all night that this happened.
I was sitting close to the TV and not really seeing what was behind me, so I didn't notice that. But
everyone on the couch jumped up.
Okay.
All 3 of the cabinet makers.
Well, they're the 3 casual fans.
Yes.
So I agree. We do live sometimes in a wrestling bubble. One of the first things I do after pay-per-view is look at various feedback sites on the internet and just see what other people thought. See if not to see if I'm right, but to see if I'm concurrent with the public opinion or if I'm weird. Basically, is what I'm checking. But yeah, so maybe I'll go home and I'll check everything. Maybe everyone will say it was great and they were crying, they were so happy. And in which case, then, and if that's true, then they did it right. And if everyone agrees with me, then they screwed it up.
And I got to say something here. This goes back to a rant that I went on a long time ago, where there was a lot of unhappiness about a Shawn Michaels-Kurt Angle match, where Shawn was kicking out of a top rope angle slam and everything like that, and people talking about how these moves, these finishes were being killed and that sort of thing. And the point I tried to make was, all you got to do is beat one top guy with your finish and it's over again. Doesn't matter how many times the finish has not worked in a row. Mm-hmm. One big win will just get the whole damn thing over. And the thing with pro wrestling is it's such a fast-moving business, and things change so rapidly, and because of that, things are, I don't want to say forgotten, but every day is a new day.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, all the build towards Ray winning the belt, it has not been good. And it resulted in the win being underwhelming. But really, that means nothing. Because on Thursday, everything is brand new again.
That is true.
Every show is a brand new slate.
That is an excellent point.
On Thursday, they could put all their promotional power behind Rey Mysterio Jr., and he could become a phenomenon. Or a phenomena. Whichever one you want to.
Whichever one is singular.
Whichever one, yes. And it's just like, look back to WrestleMania last year. Both of the world title changes, Batista beating Hunter, and JBL losing to John Cena, both of those very underwhelming.
As far as matches, yes.
Very underwhelming matches, very underwhelming reactions. John Cena went on to become the hottest merchandise seller of the company by a grand margin.
Yeah.
And Batista went on to become a pretty successful champion.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always, I can't even say it's always the follow-up. It's just every day is a brand new day. And say what you want about this show, or say what you want about Angle winning the belt. As of tonight, you can say whatever you want. It's probably valid that it was an underwhelming win and everything like that. But on Thursday, boom, it could all turn around just like that. Or they could fuck it all up.
They could indeed fuck it all up.
In no way am I saying that this is the beginning of something huge. He could lose the belt Thursday. He could lose the belt in a month. He could lose the belt
and his mask in a month.
That's right. Anything can happen.
Your point is, come Thursday, they start at 0.
Every show.
Every week, they start at 0 again.
Every single show, they start at 0. Because I could give a million examples, but we're an hour into the show, so let's move on here. Then we had the pillow fight, which, where the hell did I even recap the pillow fight?
Did you have to?
Oh, there it is.
They never used the pillows.
No, it was the shittiest pillow fight ever because no pillows were used.
They did not have a comedy pillow fight. They tried to have a fight.
Let me say this about the match. First off, as amazing as this is, between the women coming out and the final bell ringing, there were references to Lucha Libre and Frank A. Gotch.
Yes.
They proceeded to have a match, and I don't know how this is possible, so much worse than I expected.
Well,
this
because
is like I expected
we were
dud,
expecting. Okay, go ahead.
And they did a negative 5-star match. Not that bad. -2.
It was negative. Yeah, it was bad.
What an argument that is. Was it -2 or -5? I'm not sure. But yeah, it was negative mini star.
We were expecting crappy comedy, and we got crappy wrestling, and that made it worse.
Shit. Backdrops onto the bed.
Backdrops on the bed,
which were sold. That was the best part.
Tori turned the mattress over and onto Candace, and tried to stomp on it, and all you need to know is that there were two women nearly naked fighting, and people were booing and chanting boring.
Yeah. The worst part was they wanted to strip each girl first before the pin. Tori got stripped. And then all Tori had to do was take off Candace's clothes. I'm sure Candace is a beautiful woman. I'm sure she's a wonderful woman, a wonderful wife. I'm sure at some point she'll be a wonderful mother, beautiful girl. But it don't take 60 seconds to get her clothes off.
Especially these clothes.
And Tori managed to take 60 seconds to get her clothes off. And I'm like, how? How is this even possible?
Well, they're the divas. That's the only answer I can give you.
It's like Tori taking 60 seconds to put a bra on or take a bra off.
That's entirely possible. I've never seen her. Well, anyway.
Jesus, God, this sucked. So let's just move on.
Okay.
Main event, Hunter and Cena for the title. It's so clear, that WWE is the promotion designed solely to get Vince McMahon, Triple H, Shane, and Stephanie over.
Oh, yes.
And thus the Raw brand, since they're all on Raw. I mean, this was given the dramatic thump, 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 thump music as they warmed up.
Yep.
It was given the...
They both had the great big spiffy entrances.
They had two entrance themes.
Hunter did have a new song and his old song.
They both did.
That's right. You're right. They both did.
It opened up with Hunter having a new Motorhead song about the king. Behold the King, it was
Bow
called.
to the King or something.
Behold the King. Don't second guess me. I have notes here in front of me.
You do.
Behold the King. He came out from under the stage on a throne. If you've ever seen the Two Towers, what the hell's that one king that's all fucked up?
I forget.
The point is he's a decadent king, and he's sitting on this throne, and he's all hunched down, and it's just this giant throne, and he's got this fucking crown and these royal robes and everything like that. Hunter was all decked out like this, except more like King Conan. He had a loincloth.
Tonight he really was Huntor.
He was Huntor.
He was Huntor the Barbarian.
He was Huntor the Barbarian.
He had his crown, loincloth, a great big hammer.
And a water bottle.
And a plastic water bottle.
He had a water
bottle. They couldn't give him a water bottle at ringside. He had to carry the plastic water bottle with his Halloween costume down there.
That actually made this better. Because if he had not had the water bottle, it would be like, dude, you're taking this thing way too seriously and you're a dork. By having the water bottle, he's like, it's goofy. But anyway, so then they busted into his normal music and he came down. Then Cena got a video which
is about Elliot Ness and the Untouchables.
Basically, they're trying to say that Cena is an illegal bootlegger and you should like him.
I think they were trying to say he was, well, I don't know. It was odd. They brought up Al Capone. They were in Chicago, of course, and they brought up Al Capone and the mob, and they hinted at the men who stopped him. They actually never used the term Elliot Ness. Maybe it's trademarked or something. But it
would be trademarked to mention his name in historical context.
I don't know.
No, go on.
Okay. So anyway, the point is, it got to the big climax of saying they lived by 3 words, and then it flashed on the screen: hustle, loyalty, respect. And then the wacky music started, and the ramp lifted up, and a gangster car drove out.
That's, by the way, for everybody wondering, does Bryan have a dream car? Is there a certain car that Bryan would like?
Bryan have one automobile in his life?
That'd be it.
You want the gangster car that John Cena had at his entrance?
I want a car out of about 1934, preferably bulletproof.
Yes.
I take black or stainless steel, silver, whatever, platinum, or titanium. Just some car.
This was a pimp car.
Oh yeah, this was the car.
And it was full of gangsters who were wearing suits and fedoras and toting Tommy guns, and one of these gangsters was young CM Punk.
He had a Pepsi tattoo. He's a hell of a gangster.
Making his WrestleMania debut in his hometown as a machine gun toting gangster. But you know what?
What the hell?
Who cares? But anyway, so yes, they came out and they surrounded the ring, and Hunter was looking at them concerned, perhaps thinking he was about to be hit.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, these men were here to make sure Cena was not booed. You fuckers boo, we're going to take a shot at you.
Yeah, that was also a possibility.
But they had a match, and it was funny because during introductions, it was a split crowd. And in the first time Hunter punched Cena with his closed fist, the place just fucking went nuts.
Yes.
It became a very pro-Hunter crowd, very anti-Cena crowd. There were moments, but in general, it was very pro. It was not Rockin' Austin.
It was definitely not Rockin' Austin. I would not say it was pro-Hunter. It was very strong anti-Cena with an occasional pro-Cena contingent. And the reason I say that is because there were points in this match where there were dueling chants. We've, of course, all the way back to last year, there was, let's go Cena, let's go Jericho, back and forth, back and forth. Well, this night, no one was cheering for Hunter. The chants were, let's go Cena, fuck you Cena, let's go Cena, fuck you Cena.
Yes,
they didn't care about Hunter at
fuck
all.
Fuck you Cena.
Hunter could have died. As long as he took Cena with him, they would have been fine with that.
Yeah, it was a much better match than I expected. I expected after 4 hours and all the gimmick matches that the people would be blown up, tired, and, I got a live report from Keith, and apparently he found the show underwhelming. So it may not have been as good live, or maybe he had very, very high expectations, which with Keith is
entirely
perfectly possible. We'll talk to him about that tomorrow on Figure 4 Daily, but yeah.
That's going to be a hell of a show.
Yeah, I expect it to be. So, but yeah, it was a very, very split crowd. Much better match than you would expect, mostly just because of the crowd reactions. I think if it would have been a dead crowd, the same match, it would have been fine, but you would have forgotten it tomorrow. This one you'll remember.
Yes.
Because of the response. Everybody kicked out of finishes. The best was when they actually broke into the boo and yay cheers.
Yes.
As they were exchanging punches back and forth. Hunter eventually at the end went for the pedigree. And Cena rolled through into the STFU. Hunter teased passing out. They raised the arm twice. On the third time, he held it up and fought.
Everyone cheered.
Yep, and then he tapped. And immediately they cut to one lone fan
Oh, God.
in the middle of the crowd staring at the Titantron with the very definition of what the fuck just happened.
He was shocked and in a bad way.
It was
the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire
It was the
life.
biggest reaction in the entire Proper household all night. Everybody laughing and crying at this guy who had just...
The only he must have bet his home on Hunter.
He could not fathom this finish. He was... All those missing was him pinching or slapping himself to go, please tell me this.
Splashing beer in his face, trying to make himself
up.
up. No, in fact, John Cena made Hunter submit in the main event of WrestleMania to retain his belt.
And it was also great because during all the near falls, they'd cut to the crowd regularly. Mm-hmm. And it was so split.
It was very split. I would say it was probably 2-1 anti-Cena. But that being said, the pro-Cena people were very, very passionate. And there was a point, I think Cena kicked out of something. And they cut to the crowd, and a guy jumped to his feet and began to cut a promo on the guy next to him.
He was jumping up and down going, I showed you.
I told you he'd get up. I told you can't beat John Cena.
Fuck you, motherfucker. And it was just great.
It was beautiful.
Back and forth.
We've said it before, John Cena can never lose the belt.
No, I've decided. He needs to be champion forever.
I don't care if he has to fight good guys, fight bad guys. I don't care.
This was just...
Every John Cena match is more fun than it should be.
Thank God for Chicago.
Thank God for Chicago. Thank God for that guy.
Chicago gets a huge thumbs up, which gives WrestleMania a thumbs up. And that's it.
It was a solid... It was a good show. It did not have the one WrestleMania classic that you remember for years and years and years. But there was a lot of good wrestling. And
it was enough to add up to it.
Yeah.
People, they'll this was a good show. I left happy.
I left very happy.
I left happy. I did not feel ripped off. I was full. I was happy. And really, what more can you ask for from a pay-per-view? So
nothing.
Got to give him a thumbs up.
Well, everyone, here we are on the Bryan and Vinny Show. It's a Saturday. I don't know what the date is. We watched no less than 17 hours of wrestling in the past 16 hours, actually. We managed to watch more wrestling than time allowed. We used Orlando Jordan's time machine to get that done. We are here playing with our knobs for your entertainment.
Wow. You know, I was actually just going to start the entire show over again, but after you threw in the playing with our knobs line, I'm going to keep it on here. So I don't know why your knob was turned down. I blame you somehow.
I don't know many things about my knob.
No one else does either. Strangest coincidence of all. We're going to start the show today in a moment, but first off, we've got to make a special phone call. So everybody, hold on one moment. Let's see if anything happens. I do like how there's just... There we go. Oh, my God. Quality here.
Oh, as always.
I don't know why that knob got turned.
Phone.
Hello?
Hey, hang on a second.
That totally
What
caught
was
me
that?
off guard. I don't know what she said.
You called somebody and a girl answered. That's weird.
Not as weird as if you were calling.
I don't call people.
Hello?
Gary,
What's up?
we're calling to wish you happy birthday. You're on the air, baby.
Hi, Craig.
Oh, no. Hey, what's up?
The whole world knows it's your birthday today.
I'm so very excited.
You sound like it.
Did you just realize you turned 40 or something? What happened?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm just fresh out of the shower, and I'm standing in the mirror completely nude.
Are you really?
Why would I lie?
About that, I don't know. Craig, that's quite the, we won't keep you on the phone too long, though.
I don't know what to
Funny,
say.
you called me on my birthday, and I'm in my birthday suit.
Vince is a cock. I'm sorry. Craig, we just wanted to wish
Speaking
you...
of cock, what?
I'm
What?
appalled at what the show has become. We just wanted to wish you a happy birthday here, buddy. And how old are you?
I am younger than Buddy Wayne,
That's true.
So you're, okay.
and I'm older than you. So I'm 34 years old.
34 years old today.
34 glorious years.
34
Yeah.
wonderful years on this planet.
Well, it's 34 years, yeah.
Well, yeah, we just wanted to call and say happy birthday. We don't have really anything to talk about except for, coincidentally, the theme of this show in the first 4 minutes has been knobs and nudity. So it's just been the strangest thing, but
Wow.
yeah. So anyway, I guess I'll probably call you after the show's over and we'll see what's up for later on. But
All right, dope.
So, yep, happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Cool,
Craig.
thanks, guys.
Everybody on the
Thanks,
board
guys.
wishes you happy birthday as well.
Well, 6 of them have so far.
That's right.
Really? Wow, there you go.
All right.
All right, man.
I'll talk to you after a while.
All right, thanks.
All right, ciao.
Bye.
Well, that was old Craig there. I'm not liking the trend of the show, this trend towards
Genitalia?
genitalia. Yeah.
It is unfortunate.
We had a match with Burchell, and what the hell is up with my report here? I'm sorry. It was Burchell and Regal, basically. And the gimmick was that Burchell is still a pirate. Terrible one. Regal doesn't want to be a pirate. He told him to quit wearing that shit, and if he did, he wouldn't, he wouldn't yell at him anymore. And so Burchell said, listen, let's do a match. If you win, I'll stop wearing this outfit. If I win, you have to wear whatever I want you to wear. And Regal said, fine. And the pirate threatened to make him dress as a buxom wench. The pirate won. And goddamn was this the performance of his life. Regal was so great tonight. And he lost. And I'm so sad that he's going to be a buxom wench. I realize it will lead to a lot of comedy and wacky facial expressions with Regal and everything like that, but I want to see Regal as a pirate.
Well, there's that too.
So I give a thumbs down to the idea of him as a buxom wench.
Well, it's never certainly not something I would give a thumbs up to, but Regal's just so great, especially in the skits and the promos. He's just so awesome. They never use him, at least not enough. And I was thinking also about this. We've said everything we can say about the pirate himself. But it's the whole concept. Michael Cole was talking about how Burchell has his grandfather or great-grandfather or whatever was an actual pirate. So he wants to pay tribute to this guy. And it occurred to me, what he's basically saying is announcing to the world, my grandfather was a murderer, a thief, and a rapist.
But he was a pirate.
And I am paying tribute to him.
Yeah, but he was a pirate.
So it's okay to do all those things if you have an eye patch and a parrot.
This is not your best...
I don't have any best.
whatever you want to call this here. I mean, he's a pirate. I mean, do you think when Pirates of the Caribbean came out, there was a big argument about we're glorifying men who raped, killed?
But that was a fantasy movie. They're claiming his... Oh, never mind. They're saying his...
This is a fantasy character on a fantasy show. I'll let the board determine this one.
I don't care.
I think this one's absolutely absurd on your part. But
probably. I don't care.
Glorifying murderers and rapists.
Yeah.
Well, just pick a random character.
Okay, Booker T.
Rey Mysterio. We're going to use Rey Mysterio because he does a promo here thanking his family and everything.
Okay.
So when Rey Mysterio, and I'm going to get you for this one, you cock. A couple of weeks ago, you were talking about how I have no interest in seeing this three-way, but maybe when Ray comes out with his Aztec headdress on and he's doing all sorts of
I remember saying that.
Remember this?
Yeah.
Okay, so when he's wearing this Aztec headdress, is he glorifying human sacrifice? Is it not the same fucking thing? And you're fine with that because it's wacky feathers and a mask? Yes? Am I wrong? Is this in any way different? You've never been this speechless for anything. What do you have to say? I want to know! Is it not the same thing? The Aztec headdress and the pirate. Is it not the same thing? If it's not, tell me. I've humbled you. I have humbled you. I'm just going to consider you humbled. That's why you're so quiet here.
I decided I couldn't say anything that you would not disagree with and then make fun of, so I just stopped.
Well, I was trying to point out that the Aztec headdress and the pirate were the same thing. I'll make you a deal. Since you were silent for a good 15 minutes there, I'm going to turn down my own volume, and I will let you speak your piece about the differences between the pirate and the headdress, and that way I cannot say a word. I will let you have the last word on the situation.
No, I don't want to do that.
Why?
I don't care about being the last word. I just want to move on.
I actually thought this was the best argument we've ever had.
How so?
Because it was actually relevant, and I think that we both, me mostly, had a good point.
That is Brian in a nutshell. This is a great argument because I had a good point.
Well, the argument was that...
The thing is, you kept saying that they want you kept saying they want Burchell to be the hero to England because he's being a real pirate. Those are the words you used.
Well, sort of. They want Regal to be the new Bulldog.
Burchell.
I'm sorry, Burchell. They want Burchell to be the new Bulldog. And they also... The claim, I was told this specifically that he was going to be a legit pirate. I think that is not the case anymore.
He is definitely saying ahoy and matey, and he may have slipped in an R at some point today.
Sure. But also during the show, he did cut the promo where he said, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. And I've been undefeated since I started doing this. So, it was revealed during the show that he's being wacky. He's not a real pirate.
Don't you think you overreacted a little?
About what?
About me.
In what way?
You could have just said, no, Vince, you're wrong, and moved on. But no, you had to blow up.
I did blow up.
You did.
I cannot... Listen, how many years have we known each other?
Too many.
6?
Something like that.
Okay, after 6 years, have you not found out that when something occurs, I cannot control myself?
You do have a tendency to blow up.
And I'm not going to pretend...
No, that's fair. I can actually appreciate that.
You've ranted and raved many times on this show. The most upset you've ever been was when somebody called you a liar at Tony's house. You totally freaked out. Mm-hmm. Would you rather I pretended, or would you rather I just totally went off?
There's no middle ground there?
Well, clearly there wasn't today, was
I
there?
see.
I did calm down and offer to give you the last word with my volume turned down, did I not?
No, but I also rejoined the show eventually.
That's right.
So everything's settled.
That's right. Everything is settled. But I did think that I had a pretty damn good point with my rant. And I thought that you flipping out was unacceptable. I didn't see it was, what you did, I saw as what you saw I did.
That's probably true.
That's probably true. I'm sorry, Vince. Now, are you going to apologize for what you've done?
I apologize for ruining your show.
You didn't ruin the show. You just disappeared for a while.
I apologize for helping the show.
Put us into camel clutch, break our back, and then fuck our ass.
It's good to want things.
That's right, I was giving Buddy Wayne fellatio. I was pleasuring him. And I bought myself a blow-up doll. I just couldn't handle the loneliness. Good God, you little cocksucker. I love you, Dad. I love you too. You would have to break the man's back first.
You have to break his back to fuck him in the ass.
Sure you do.
Guns, drugs, crime, sexuality, and that's enough.
I don't know who's responsible for that.
God.
I had never played that before. I just looked over and it said Kane in the Closet mix. Then we had the segment. Vince McMahon was in church. I'm just going to condense this whole thing.
There's a lot to take in here.
Basically, Vince went to church and just mocked everything, like he'd never been there before. Hopefully Linda wasn't watching since they met in church, but So he's in there, and he's drinking holy water, and he's reading his commandments and that sort of thing, and this and that. And when it was over, all I could think was, if you're a very religious man, say Craig, perhaps you'd be offended by this.
I think a lot of people were probably pissed off by this whole deal.
Really? I don't think so.
Why no? Because it was so wacky?
I think if you were really, really religious, you may have been offended by this. But it was just, to me, it was too wacky to really offend somebody.
I totally get your point.
But at the same time, it was trying too hard to be wacky. So when it was over, you were either greatly offended or you just didn't give a shit.
And you're in the latter, I take it.
I
so
mean,
am I.
To me, I just watched it and I was like, you know, it may be offensive and all, but the idea of Vince McMahon in church has so many possibilities. An incredible number of possibilities. And they tried so hard to make this funny that it failed. Last week when Vince made the product of my semen line and screamed about how God is going to be his tag team partner, I laughed and laughed and rewound it and rewound it and rewound it. This week, I don't care if I ever see it again. It was just...
There's nothing close to that great, and the only things that were remotely funny were things they'd done before.
Yeah, I didn't find it offensive, really, because it was just so... I mean, it was trying too... It was one of those things that tried so hard to be offensive that you would almost feel... You know, it would be wrong to be offended. You know what I mean?
No, I totally agree. There's some stuff that... It's kind of like watching Lucha when they do gimmicks like Los Talibanes, where they're just so goofy you can't be offended.
No, that's different. That's different. Because even Los Talibanes, you watch that, and it's so absurd and over the top that you're like, there's something about it. There's something about it where, and this was not a wacky lucha skit. It was
a bad wacky lucha skit.
This was Katie Vick.
I don't know. I would term this a bad wacky lucha skit.
Katie Vick was particularly appalling to everybody because I think it was something new. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They'd done offensive things before, but Katie Vick took it to a new level. Now they've just done so much stuff that if they would have done this segment when they did Katie Vick, people would have been appalled.
That's fair.
Whereas if they would have switched them around and done Katie Vick today, it would have gotten the same reaction that this is getting.
Yeah.
They tried too hard.
Well, there was one moment at the very end where Vince announced that if he was cutting a promo on God, and he announced if he was lying, then God may strike him down. And Shane, of course, stepped several steps away, and Vince McMahon was not struck down in church, but there was thunder rolling. I'm a heathen. They are teasing the arrival of God.
Wrong, Vince. I don't know what the deal was. There were so many sounds in this show that I don't know if any of them actually meant anything. So
that's true. All I know is that based on our board and based on my own reaction after the show, the McMahons versus Shawn Michaels and God is the only thing at Backlash anyone's really looking forward to.
Yeah, and it's only because they're hoping God does interfere. I'm waiting for the power to go out, like Beware the Dog pay-per-view, and they can't do the whole thing or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe Vince will be hit by lightning. Maybe something, I don't know. Something wacky is going to happen.
I don't know. Or they'll just debut somebody as God, and it'll be lame.
Mordecai will come back.
No, I don't think it's going to be Mordecai. No. Alejandro Osama Rodriguez Alvarez, whatever. What is his real name? Armando
Alejandro Estrada.
Estevez?
Estrada.
Whatever.
That was the worst.
Osama. Why don't you do some Sheiky while you're at
it?
No. Let's actually just do one for me, okay? I'll play a Sheik drop, and I want you to recreate it.
I'll see what I can do.
Hold on a minute. You have to clear your throat for this?
I do. I don't want to look bad.
Let's see. Which Sheiky one? I don't want to do one that's too... okay, here we go. This is a good one.
Then Ric Flair and that Hollywood blonde jabroni Hulk Hogan. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man. Ah! Oh!
I do not have the energy to do that spit.
You don't have to do that spit because that blew my ears out.
Yeah.
But
Ric Flair and that Hollywood blonde jabroni Hulk Hogan.
Keep going. Keep going.
What does he say? Macho Man. This show sucks.
I thought that would add a little old country to that Sheiky impersonation right
This show
there.
has gone off a cliff.
That was a good one, dude.
Make his back, make him humble, and then fuck his ass.
I'm not going to ask you to do that one. Don't insult the Sheik by trying to recreate that one. So, where were we? Oh, Osama Alejandro Estevez came out and met with Vince and said he had recently been converted to McMahonism. And in the good name of this religion, he wanted to make a special donation. He donated Umaga.
That sucks.
That was his donation.
Yes.
He should have tried to put Umaga in a plate, a collection plate.
Yes.
And brought him in like on a wheelbarrow or something like that. So he said he'd give him to Vince for a match with Shawn later, and Vince said, oh, okay, Shawn versus Umaga later. So that's what we had to look forward to. That was the big build for later. Oh, it was next. That was the big. They didn't want people to think about it. They just wanted to get the match out of the way once it was announced.
Vince came out, Armando got involved, and eventually Umaga was just disqualified for excessive violence.
No, he shoved the ref twice.
Well, wouldn't you call that excessive?
Shoving the ref once is excessive.
Well, then twice is even excessive.
Well, Shawn was in the Tree of Woe, and Umaga was excessively beating him.
Yeah.
But that was not the DQ. The DQ was when the ref said, quit beating him excessively, and so Umaga shoved him down twice.
The point is Umaga was disqualified.
That's right.
So Vince McMahon called off Armando and Umaga and said, leave, I will take care of this now.
Get the hell out of my ring.
Get the hell out of my ring. And he tied Shawn up in the ropes, and Shawn was helpless, and Vince went outside the ring to retrieve a chair, and he folded up the chair, and he went to the ring, and there was an explosion.
Yeah.
There's a burst of pyro from the ring post, which Jerry Lawler would later call an unnatural explosion.
As opposed to a natural. The post did not just naturally explode. There was not natural gas in the post or anything like that.
There was no spontaneous combustion in this ring. So Vince was startled. He tried.
Actually, hold on a second. Now that I think about it, there could have been a natural explosion. A lightning bolt could have struck the post. Lightning is a force of nature.
Were this in, say, Wembley Stadium or any other outdoor venue, I would say that's possible.
Perhaps it was St. Elmo's fire.
I'm not familiar with that.
Go on.
So
That's impossible. It was a song in the 80s.
Okay, so you think this guy came in singing and that saw Vince get into the ring?
No, I just thought you'd never.
I know the song. I know there was a movie. I just never saw it.
Okay, well,
I understand there's a weather phenomenon called St. Elmo's Fire. I just don't know really what it is.
It may have actually invaded wherever they were at. Now that I think about it, perhaps St. Elmo's Fire knocked Vince on his ass. Here's the difference between you and me.
There are many.
There are many. When I was young, well, when would that song have came out? 1984, maybe?
Around there?
I would have been 9. At about 8, 9 years old, I did like that song. I was like, this is a great song, St. Elmo's Fire. Then after about 11, I didn't need to ever hear that song again. Whereas if St. Elmo's Fire came on the radio, you would crank that thing up. You'd probably slow down and recline your seat back and you'd put your arm out the window and just sort of cruise down the street with St. Elmo's Fire playing. Yeah?
Entirely likely.
Okay, well, go on. So St. Elmo's Fire knocked Vince on his ass.
Yeah, so Vince was
twice.
Well, he was slowed but not stopped as he found another way to get into the ring, and there was a second explosion that knocked him on his ass again. So he gave up, and he retreated up the ramp, and he got back all the way to the entranceway and had a change of heart and was going to give it one last try when there was another big explosion, and now there was a wall of fire.
That's right.
Between Vince and the ring. So
Christ made the save.
Yes, God himself did a run in and made the save, and so Vince finally gave up and retreated. And the only thing I was disappointed in, God made the run in, and we still did not get to hear his entrance music.
You know what else we didn't get to hear is a promo from God.
Wrong move. Don't do that to El Guapo.
That would have been a promo from the Lord. You know, if they're going to have the Lord, they should just hire Boss Rutan to do all his promos over the sound system or something like that. That would be some good stuff. Boss is a fine gentleman, for those of you that are...
Boss Rutan is the world's greatest man.
He really is.
A fighter, an actor, a singer, a dancer.
Going to bounce his head on the table 10 times or something. Don't you ever do this.
He is, in fact, a singer. Good old
commentator.
Boss. Yeah, commentator, lover.
Model. Man of many talents.
Many, many talents. Now that I think about it, there could have been a natural explosion. Perhaps it was St. Elmo's fire.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah. So that's impossible. It was a song in the 80s. Perhaps St. Elmo's fire knocked Vince on his ass.
It's a damn fine song.
If you could only see Vince dancing
this is a great
right now. Song, St. Elmo's fire. Then after about 11, I didn't need to ever hear that
The
song.
horns.
Whereas if St. Elmo's fire came on the radio, you would crank that thing up.
I need to copy this immediately.
Yeah?
Entirely like it.
St. Elmo's fire.
Yeah! Wow. That was fine stuff. How can anyone not like that song? Seriously.
Vince,
Whoa, that's fucked up.
if you could have all seen Vince dancing during that song, no one was watching except me.
No,
Realize
I was
that.
dancing for my own joy. I wasn't doing it to entertain anyone.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And who's the fucking soldier they're talking about in that song?
Who the hell knows?
Was there a major war in the 80s that I'm unaware of? Was this a soldier in the Cold War or
Certainly
something?
not in St. Elmo's Fire.
Jeez.
St. Elmo's Fire.
St. Elmo.
Yeah.
Do some research, Vince, for somebody,
Break his back,
Uh-oh.
makes him humble, and then fuck his ass.
I can't imagine a show without an Iron Sheik drop, to be honest.
Everyone would quit.
Shout-outs.
Yay!
This is from AtariCon. Sorry for raping you so much. And since I've been on a... Dude.
Sorry, that's funny.
Since I've been on a monthly recurring subscription since the site started, I thought it might be time for my shout-out. I will continue to rape you monthly afterwards, don't worry. I've often thought of sending you $20 with the express instruction that you use it to buy your hard-working, unpaid lackey some food. How dare you refer to Granny in such a manner? Alas,
Hey.
alas, no, today is...
Oh, to be fair, I am not hardworking.
Alas, no, today is not his lucky day. Instead, I enclose a cut-up featuring Kenny Loggins. Oh, that's where the song came from.
See?
AtariCon, yes. Where we will all learn something about the bizarre private life of one Buddy Wayne. I'm not quite sure what. Once again, you never know when you might get defined. Look at the definition of Buddy Wayne from his appearances on this show. Thanks for everything. I hugely enjoy all of the content coming from the burgeoning Poderoso Empire. Long may it live.
Poder.
That is from AtariCon. And he made sure to add pronunciation at the bottom. So I didn't say like
Poder.
Ader Icone or something. How can you screw that up?
To be fair,
it's not Scottish.
I'd have put it on even money that you did not know how to pronounce Atari.
I had an Atari. I played video games through 7th grade. I just stopped.
I do remember once we were at some show in the middle of Hell, Washington, somewhere out in just ass end of nowhere, and we went into the only place we could find to get food, which had about 900 menu items on a plastic board above the thing. And we turned around. It was a mini mart / bait shop. It was just hell. And then you turned around and there was a tabletop Miss Pac-Man game. And you jumped 3 feet in the air and screamed, "Holy God!" And you demanded all my money so you could play this Miss Pac-Man game. And you sat down and giggled and swore at the ghosts, called them fuckers, and chased them down and ate them.
I played video games through about 1989, and then I just stopped cold turkey and have not played a game since.
Yeah.
But when I broke my arm in 7th grade, I told this story, at least I told the story of breaking my arm on the Lance Storm show today, but when I broke my arm, it was deep in my video game geekiness. And this was back when there was just the Nintendo, and it had the little square controller with the plus and the buttons.
Yeah.
Well, I only had one arm.
A hindrance.
So I went out and bought one of those things that you snapped over it that had the little mini plastic joystick, which I would put in my mouth, and I would operate I would operate the knob with my mouth, and I would use my fingers to what a drop this is becoming to push the buttons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you adapted.
Yeah, and my goal was to beat every game I'd ever played, and I did, except for, I believe it was like Mighty Bomb Jack. What the hell was the name of the game?
That was a game, I believe, with the original NES.
I could never beat that game, and it drove me fucking crazy. Every other game I defeated. And then I don't know what happened. Like about 8th grade, I just gave up on video games, and that was the end forever. So, but yes, I know what a fucking Atari is, you geek.
Okay. Cranky.
Dare you underestimate me. This is from Johnny Montana, which I presume is not his real name, so I read the whole thing. Just renewed for 3 months, would like to get a shout-out for one of the greatest cards of all time, Clash of the Champions 4. Fantastics versus Eddie Gilbert.
I love when people draw out random cards from 18 years ago and, yes, Clash 4.
Well, it is,
I remember it well.
It is a
Marietta, Georgia.
It is a shout-out. For some reason that made me laugh. I'm going to read the whole thing again. Just renewed for 3 months, would like to get a shout-out for one of the greatest cards of all time, Clash of the Champions 4. Fantastics versus Eddie Gilbert and Ron Simmons, Dusty Rhodes versus Animal.
I remember that Fantastics and Eddie Gilbert match.
Oh,
that was good.
So now, I see how it is.
Yeah.
Vince is a dick.
Yeah.
The Midnight Express versus Ric Flair and Barry Windham, NWA Wrestling at its peak.
Okay, I remember that show vividly now. The Midnights and Horsemen match was the first time I ever saw a camera pointing straight down to the ring, and it was really cool.
Yeah, well, now do you feel bad about making fun of this guy's shout-out for Clash of the Champions 4?
I was making fun of his shout-out. I was making fun of the fact that I was expected to know what was on that show by the name alone.
Well,
and I'm a dick.
He explained the card, you see.
Yeah.
He didn't just go to give a shout-out to In Your House 3.
Right. He
explained why.
And once he did, I agreed with him.
You got to give people time, Vince.
Have you ever known me to be a patient man?
You just get all over people.
Don't insult my intelligence!
That's what you get.
That scared me.
Iron Sheik. Here's another reason to subscribe. The board often alerts us to things that are upcoming on TV. And somebody goes, Brian, you've got to record the Victoria's Secret lingerie special. I think it was on Channel 7 or something, on HD.
Oh.
It was like Victoria's Secret models on HD.
Why was I not alerted to this?
You weren't paying attention. So anyway, I recorded it, and I know this is going to lead to a bunch of new songs when I reveal this, but I was underwhelmed. There's nothing to it.
Just chicks walking down the aisle over and over again?
It wasn't even that. It was more personality profiles.
Oh, that is lame.
Personality
profiles of models.
I expected more.
What do you do? Well, I run a lot and eat vegetables.
Stop. Don't even start on that. Rochelle Leah. That is a model with personality.
Okay.
So going off on all models.
I'll just stop right there.
For having no personalities. Rochelle. What do you think about the Rochelle thread?
I love everything about Rochelle.
That should humble you right there.
Rochelle Leah does humble me.
Yes. Lovely woman. I'm going to try and get her on the show. I've decided. Yeah. I don't know how I'll possibly do the show. The drop board most certainly will have to be turned off. That's my plan.
I was going to make a lewd comment, but I will keep it to myself.
Please don't.
It was very funny, though.
Don't. This is from, now everyone's going to want to know what the hell it was, so you might as well say it.
Well, when you asked how you're going to do the show, I replied with one hand.
Vincent Fairhigh. That was very lewd.
I told you.
Goddamn cocksucker. Hate that fucking thing.
This show is so much fun when we're not talking about wrestling.
Where the hell is the fucking Hall of Fame? I'm supposed to be able to watch it live right now, and there's people doing play-by-play on the site, and I cannot see the goddamn thing. It's fucking driving me crazy. Play the fucking Hall of Fame. There are all these watch links. Here's a webcast link. Where is it? No! Hold on a second. God damn it. WWE.com can suck my dick. Horribly
For the God
inappropriate.
of Jesus and Mr. McMahon.
That may be my new favorite.
That made me so angry that night. This is from Ruben. Just completed a sensational 3-month recurring sign-up. It is all due to the realization that I am the epitome of a dirty rat of epic proportions.
Good for you.
Reached the age of 23 and having had no employment of any kind, instead sponged off my parents, I received $9,000 in student loans and received unemployment benefit from a not particularly generous government when I was faced with a financial choice. I read that wrong. Let's go on. My contribution to the Children's Society, a legitimate charity to help disadvantaged children, these were his choices. Or indulge in the ultimate form of self-indulgence, Figure 4 Weekly. There was a time I considered myself to have 3 of the 3 I's. Intensity evaporated following a sack race, sprint race, fast category, and relay race, triple victory at high school sports day, age 8. Intelligence, I have a degree in history and politics, went when I gambled away some of the aforementioned meager income at the bookkeepers. Tip of the day, Ken Doherty to win the World Snooker Championships. Don't take a tip from this guy.
Apparently not.
And integrity, the most treasured of the 3 I's, went when I stole a member's key to allow myself to gain free access to a local swimming pool.
Woo!
With the realization that I am indeed a reprobate and an urchin, I ended my association with Good Cause and invested in your website. I do know that, speaking of the 3 I's, the Iron Sheik is familiar with Kurt Angle.
I respect the Kurt Angle, but the Kurt Angle is come after Iron Sheik. I get the gold medal before Kurt Angle. You know, Mr. Maloney. I respect Kurt Angle. He's a great wrestler, but he's not Iron Sheik anyway. But
He
he's
most certainly
is not the
all
Iron
of them,
Sheik.
He's great. He's the best. He's Olympic gold medal. But I had the medal before Kurt Angle. You know, Mr. Maloney. I saw Doug Madison Square Garden, Boston Garden, Providence, Rhode Island.
You know,
He just starts going, you know what I mean?
Let's assume for a second that Iron Sheik actually did win a gold medal. How does Iron Sheik winning one invalidate Kurt's?
But he won it first.
Oh, I see.
Kurt was a follower.
So Kurt was ripping off Iron Sheik when he won the gold medal.
The best part about the Iron Sheik drops, when you listen to this on the show, listen to this one, for example.
For the God and Jesus and Mr. McMahon.
You can't really hear it there, but when he's speaking, there's this jingling noise. Because he's wearing medals.
Yeah. And a belt.
Yeah. How's it going, kids? Brian, Vincent, and Tony here to recap the UFC pay-per-view from this past evening. So anyway, next up we had Sean Sherk and Nick Diaz. And all I've got to say about this fight is bullshit, 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 bullshit. I could just play this all night long.
Go ahead, I have no problem with that.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. This fight was bullshit. Nick Diaz, bullshit. Sean Sherk, bullshit. First round, bullshit. Second round, third round, this was all just total bullshit. This fight made me so mad.
It sucked.
Who won?
Yeah, Sean Sherk. And
really?
The only reason I know that...
I know what you're going to say.
The only reason I know he won was because when he won, Nick Diaz was appalled.
He couldn't believe it.
Okay, let me tell you about this fucking fight.
I'm going to put the mic down and let Brian go.
Nick Diaz comes out, and he's got this weird stance. He's all leaning forward, and he's sticking his head and his chin out. And even Joe Rogan's like, why is your chin up in the air? And so he's got his chin out there, and he's got a longer reach, and Sean Sherk's got this short reach, but Sean Sherk's swinging for the fences, and Nick's bringing his head back like this. And so Nick just gets in real close, and he's got his right arm like almost completely straightened. It's a little bit bent at the elbow. And so he gets real close to Sean's face, and he just straightens his arm. So he's punching from about 3 inches, repeatedly, over and over. So he's like taking his fist and placing it on Sean Sherk's head over and over again, doing no damage. No damage. You could box like this with a child. And he's just touching his head. He's touching his head. They did this fucking bullshit for 3 rounds. And I think that in the middle of like the second and third round, Nick Diaz is sitting there going, I am hitting him repeatedly. I'm getting a point for each time I'm touching him with my fist. So he was going to get like a bunch of points with the judges or something like that in a decision. No. Oh no. So it ended up going to Sean Sherk, and then Nick Diaz just puts down his hands like, what the fuck? How could I have lost this match? This fight was bullshit. Bullshit. God damn it.
Well done, sir.
I have expended more energy in that rant than Nick Diaz did in this whole fight.
That's definitely true.
I don't need to ever see this fucker again. I don't ever need to see Sean Sherk again. I'd banish them from UFC if I were Dana White.
When they were not on their feet trading weak punches, they were on the ground. I guess in theory you could call
doing nothing.
You could in theory call it
bullshit.
wrestling. It looked to me like Twister.
It looked
they were
like
just rolling around.
It looked like bullshit. Bullshit. Put your hand on the bullshit. Put your leg on the bullshit. Tony, do you have any comments?
I have nothing. I don't know. I've just been listening to bullshit
after watching it.
I hated that fight.
It was eminently hateable.
I hated both those men.
This was one of Bernard's shining moments where we were watching this fight and he started bringing up other things just for conversation.
He blatantly said we started talking about football free agency and baseball stuff, and he was not shy about it. It was like he turned away from the TV to talk about other stuff. And
yes.
For this fight, I have no problem with it.
Oh, God.
Let's move on.
Are you done, or you want to go more?
I'm done. Let's move on. Well, Nails, we'll talk to you again on, I believe, next Friday, recapping the Ultimate Fighter show. Always a fun time.
And then, a couple weeks later, we have the Gracie fight.
Yeah, we got a lot of pay-per-views coming up. TNA next weekend for us, then a WWE pay-per-view, God, in the main event. Next week after that, it'll be Pride. And then the week after that, I don't know, but lots of stuff
coming up. So they're having God in the main event.
Yeah, it's Shawn Michaels and God.
Is it going to be the main event? I thought God was a mid-carder.
No, he's a main eventer, dude.
Okay, and so how are they pulling this one off?
We have not.
It's a long story. All you need to know right this second is that the banner on the website for advertising the match says Vince and Shane McMahon versus God and HBK, and there's a picture of Vince and a picture of Shane and a picture of Shawn Michaels, and then just clouds.
Yes.
The only thing I can think of for this is, if I remember right, you guys said it seems that Vince has realized that he can't offend anyone anymore.
I did accuse him of that several months ago, that he has lost the ability to even offend people. He'd gone so far as he'd just gone so overboard that nobody could take anything he did seriously anymore. Mm-hmm. So he'd lost the power of offensiveness, and even this has failed.
You know what I think is...
He has nothing left.
You know what I seriously think is going to happen in this fight? Or this wrestling match? I think Vince is going to get hit by lightning. I think they're going to do some wacky special effects that they've done for The Undertaker, and there'll be a lightning bolt will hit near where he's standing, and he will fall.
But then
be
what?
Pinned. Be pinned. I don't know.
Oh, then just come back the next day burnt?
Yes, because he's just a man.
Now, is this ending up being more making fun of Shawn Michaels?
I don't know.
Well,
did he not find God during his...
Yes, Shawn Michaels is a man of God, and they basically set this up. This is why you need to watch wrestling, because you missed one of the greatest interviews of all time. Shawn Michaels beat Vince McMahon at WrestleMania and just destroyed him. And so Vince came out in a neck brace and crutches the next day. And he said that the only reason Shawn won was because of divine intervention. And he said, as a result, in the next pay-per-view, it will be Shawn Michaels and God versus the product of my semen, Shane McMahon, and myself, Vincent McMahon. And so the match was made. It was the greatest promo of all time.
It really was.
It was
fantastic. Michaels is going along with all this.
Well, he sort of stood in the ring, and his exact words were, "You've really lost your mind this time," or something of that nature. So, I guess the storyline's Vince is crazy now. So, that's the whole deal.
Great.
Yeah, good stuff. I love this little song here. It's called No Foul Language. Foul language? There any foul language on this show? Shit. Hell shitty. Blue. Sucks. Sucks! God damn it. Fuck long shit.
Crap sucks.
Hell. Blow me. Blow him. Blown Vince McMahon.
He may have,
He may have performed fellatio. hell, piss, fuck, hell. Goddamn bullshit. Bitches,
Goddamn.
ass, blue. Goddamn shit. Sucks, hell. They simulated fellatio.
Yo, take that, cocksucker.
Piss damn ass. Fuck his ass. Fuck off Cena. I fuck Steph. You fuck Matt.
I fuck Steph.
Fuck Crappy. Fuck fat shit. Fucking hell. Fucking goddamn. Fucking. Goddamn it. Suck my dick. I believe he said that was all from one show. Except for the, obviously, WWE.com rant there at the end.
Wow. That was fine stuff.
You know what? I'm playing that one again.
Okay.
I just can't believe it. Foul language. Done any foul language on this show? Shit. Hell shitty. Blue. Sucks. I like the blue just out of nowhere.
Shit, crap, sucks.
Hell. Blow me. Blow him. Blown Vince.
My favorite is the
McMahon.
crescendo of goddams. Yeah.
They may have performed fellatio. Hell, piss, fuck, hell. Goddamn bullshit. Bitches,
Goddamn.
ass, blue. Goddamn shit. Sucks, hell. They simulated fellatio.
Yo, take that, cocksucker.
Piss damn ass. Fuck his ass. Fuck
you?
off Cena. That was Nick Hogan. Fuck Steph. When I was recapping. You fucked Matt.
I fuck Steph.
Fuck Crappy. Fuck fat shit. Fucking hell. Fucking goddamn. Goddamn it. Suck my dick. Wow. Completely.
So angry.
Completely unacceptable.
So
there
angry.
At the end there. Wow. Anyway. Kids, that's it for the weekend. We'll be back on Sunday. Dave and myself will be on Wrestling Observer Live taking calls for 2 hours. Hopefully Brent will not call in again. I mentioned that to Dave on the Figure 4 Daily. I said, I just want you to know I was not responsible.
I heard, yes. And his response, his afterwards were good.
Yeah. As a Jew.
As a Jew. That will never die.
It will never get old. So anyway, Brent.
Speaking of Brent. One way or another, he's eager to come over on Sunday.
He is very, I would go as far as say he is very eager.
Yes.
He is going to be here for TNA.
One way or another, he's going to be here.
And he will be a guest on this show.
Whose idea was this?
You have been warned.
You have been warned. Well, kids, here we are on the Bryan and Vinny show with the TNA recap. We've got a special guest here this evening. Brent, I want you to come over here for a moment. You have returned to Club Chico. You're a very polarizing person. Some people on our board love you. Some people on our board hate you. At least one person emailed to say they were glad that I had alerted them that you were going to be on the show so they would know not to download it, which at least they're talking about you. You know what I mean? You were banned from last month's show here at Club Chico. I would like to put the blame squarely on the shoulders of young Vincent here. What exactly happened 2 months ago that caused you to be banned?
Well, it was a holiday of...
Okay, put the mic a little...
Yes, it was the holiday of... what was it? It was a holiday. The holiday we're supposed to go and eat lots of fruit and drink lots of wine. And I engaged in both activities heavily.
So saith the Lord.
That's right.
Okay, go on.
And so I came over here rather inebriated, and then once I stopped being inebriated, I was just plain old Brent. Either way, I was annoying to Vince.
You were drunk all night long, dude. You didn't suddenly become sober, and you were hammered.
I had stopped drinking before I came over here, before I got in the car, and so by the time the pay-per-view was over, I hadn't had a drink for 4 hours.
Well, you've got a low tolerance. So anyway, you were not here last month, and in this month, it was up in the air whether you would be here because you wanted to get directions here, I guess, to take a bus. I gave you directions. You decided to call in the middle of Wrestling Observer Live when I obviously could not pick up the phone. You left a message on the machine, and the message said, Bryan, I'm in Seattle. I forgot your address. I'm going to just get on a bus, and I guess hope you get here. And so at 8 o'clock when Vince showed up and you were not here, I didn't know if you were in Portland, Oregon, perhaps Portland, Maine. How did you find my house?
Well, I dropped by the hotel. That's where I called you. And I used their computer at the hotel.
Sure.
It cost $5, so I went and I got the email that you had sent me and rewrote down the address because I had left the previous piece of paper on the earlier bus.
Sure. You left it on the bus. It makes sense. Okay, go on.
Yeah. And so I had to go and rewrite it and rewrite down the directions from the Metro King County Transit site. That's the local bus service we have in the Seattle area.
Whose idea
I
was
took the regional
this?
bus over here and past the stop. And so then I had to go and catch the same bus going the opposite direction back. And I got off at the nearby Dairy Queen. I'm not sure if they have those throughout the country. I don't think they do. Or do they?
I don't know, but go on.
And so I went the wrong directions from there, and then I turned around and eventually found the apartment.
My important question is, did you run from Dairy Queen, or did you actually take a bus all the way out to the right in front here?
No, I walked.
Okay. Well, good. You got some exercise today.
Yes, and I brought over
ham,
bacon double cheeseburgers.
Yes, you showed up and you said, I have ham.
I said I have bacon.
Bacon, I'm sorry, bacon. It's ham, bacon and ham. So yes, you brought a bunch of cheeseburgers. I think Vince has eaten all of them. And you behaved yourself today, I've got to admit, so I believe you'll probably be invited over for the next show as well.
I have two Brent-related notes before we move on. One, Brent, you were behaved much better today. I'm proud of you. You stepped it up. However, you did at one point say during the Chris Daniels low-key match, I bet the bald guy wins. So that's demerits for you. Number two, if it were up to me, from now on, every comment you make after your legendary performance on Wrestling Observer Live, every comment you make should be prefaced with the 3 words, as a Jew.
As a Jew.
So in the future, try to remember that for me, okay?
What I want you to do is I want you to edit the thing that you wrote about Vince, and I want it to start with as a Jew, and then I want you to read the whole thing. All right?
All right, thank you.
We're going to talk about TNA. It was a good show, but it certainly was not the most newsworthy thing of the day. I think part of the key to tonight's show was I watched it a month after watching last month's show, which I did not enjoy. Boring show, no heat last month. This month, crowd was into everything.
Yeah.
Which stunned me because you would think with all cage matches, things would get repetitive.
You and I have been on all cage match shows.
Yes.
And it gets old.
Yes. And in fact, the matches themselves did get repetitive, but the crowd didn't. It didn't affect the crowd.
Yeah.
They still were in absolutely everything.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into that, Brent, come over here a minute. I want you to read your essay very quickly because a lot of people say a lot of things about Brent, but every now and then he does say something that is, topical. Do you even know where you put it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Every now and then he says something topical, and I know you felt very passionate about, as a Jew, you felt very passionate about Vince McMahon and this God angle, and you were so passionate you took pen to paper and scrawled an essay. And I would like you to read that and make sure the mic is up close to your head, as if you're filleting it.
Right.
Let's go on.
Now, I just want to say that I'm glad to be back. For those of you,
okay, we're glad to have you. Read the goddamn thing.
For those of you that like me, it's good to be here. For those of you that don't like me, that's fine too.
Down.
I'm just glad that you remember me.
Okay. He cut a promo. He did. He cut a promo on the haters. Okay, go on. Read your essay.
There is nothing on this earth or in the heavens above.
Hold on, stop.
Yes.
First off, you forgot the opening line.
Oh. As a Jew.
Start over again.
Start over again.
No, start over again from scratch. Here we go.
As a Jew, there is nothing on this earth or in the heavens above that Vincent Kennedy McMahon will not use to either make money or advance a personal issue. Put Bret Hart in the Shawn Michaels slot.
Sure.
The only reason Vince was willing to go as far as he did in this angle involving the Almighty, and keep in mind this is a rough draft, that reason is that Vince must be an atheist. An agnostic does not know if
there is a if there is a God, with the skits of the past 2 weeks, even an agnostic would have to at least fear the possibility that there is a God. What does it say here? My handwriting is terrible. Many atheists have an ethics system. Vince is in a third category. He believes there is no right and wrong. Consider the things that Vince has done in the past. Looking down his daughter's dress on live television.
That is true.
Firing Jim Ross the day he contracted Bell's palsy.
That is true.
Turning a blind eye to the wrestlers abusing their bodies.
Actually, I don't think
dead.
he fired him the day he contracted Bell's palsy, but go on, shortly thereafter.
He did make him drive over to his house in the snow and then fired him.
Okay, go on.
Let's see. Turning a blind eye to the wrestlers abusing their bodies and dropping dead.
Sure.
Finally having Owen Hart risk his own life and ultimately fall to his death so Vince could be amused by the Blue Blazer. Any man who takes life so callously would use the Almighty to draw pay-per-view buys. Shawn Michaels does not escape criticism either. Was doing a crotch chop after leaving Vince lying a very Christian thing to do? I do not think Vince McMahon himself is taking this seriously, but he takes advantage of his gullible, impressionable fans that are often predisposed to prejudice. Oftentimes the fans will not put much thought into their actions. I will not be surprised if we see a few handmade McMahonism and McMahonist shirts and signs. This is sad and not funny.
Amen. That was a fine performance, Brent. You were a little shaky there at the beginning, but once you got going, that was not bad at all. It's very...
You made your point.
You have made a fine point. Good job, Brent. We'll call you back in a little while to talk about what your thoughts were on the pay-per-view, because perhaps first time ever you actually watched the damn show. So perhaps we'll get your quick thoughts on... How about this? You sit close by, and if you have a comment about any of the specific matches, you raise your hand, and we'll get your thoughts on it. All right.
All righty then.
And by the way, thank you for not crawling under my table today. You're your behavior is... That's right. That's good stuff. All right. Well, there was a pay-per-view tonight from the TNA show, and as I previewed, it was much, much better than the last one because the fans were into it. They did not get bored. Vince, your thoughts overall on the program?
Very good show, and the biggest news coming out of it for me was that Christian and Abyss had a very good match, and they needed one. Christian's been a weak champion, and I think this helped him.
It probably did help him. I think the one thing that I got out of the pay-per-view was, when it was over, it was one of those shows where it was a very good self-contained show, but it was a show where I had no desire to see it going in, and when it was over, I'm not like, good God, I can't wait till next Thursday when TNA's on. Where could they possibly be going? And we will get into the big mistake of the pay-per-view coming up, and I think there was one major mistake, but everybody that watched it probably knows what it is, so... We'll get into that as we go along. Opened up with a Team Japan versus Team USA match in a cage. This was an all-cage match show. It was Haruki Goto, Minoru, and Black Tiger versus Alex Shelley, Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal. They actually flew in Team Mexico, which is amazing because, A, they found Team Mexico.
Yeah, they found 3 men to beat Team Mexico.
And B, they actually got them all into the country. And then they did nothing. They stood on the ramp for about 10 seconds. It was Shocker, Puma, and Magno. I have no idea who Magno is.
That may have been a U.S. guy under a fake mask. They may have invented a luchador.
The name doesn't even ring a bell to me, and I usually recap all of the lucha shows, but perhaps just don't follow AAA close enough. Brent, you have a comment on this?
Did they name Puma after a shoe?
Indeed they did. He was...
You said that during the show, Brent, and I said it may be a shoe, but I think he's aimed for the cat.
Well, you never know. You just never know.
I can't prove.
Perhaps he's an athlete.
He was not named after a shoe.
Perhaps he's got an endorsement deal with the shoe.
Maybe his tag team partner is Nike, and they have a third named Reebok.
So anyway, they had a fine little match. It was
good stuff.
Just good stuff, Nothing. I don't really think anything exceptional. But the problem with the show is there may have been something exceptional in the match, But there were so many things on this show that all ran together by the end.
Yeah,
that
that's
the
true.
only thing you really remember is like Chase Stevens almost dying, and Christian doing something stupid off the top of the cage, and in 72 hours I'll forget both of those things as well.
The only thing I remember from this match was I remember it was very good, and I remember one spot where the Japanese had the heat on someone. I think it was Sanjay, and the fans started to clap, 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 and Minoru picked up one of Sanjay's hands and started to clap along with it, with the most casual, fuck off all you guys look in his face, and it was awesome.
Minoru is great.
Yeah.
He really is. And my favorite part of the match is it's Team Japan versus Team USA, and Sanjay Dutt comes out and they still go, from India.
Yeah.
And I thought, can you not, for one day,
just announce
tell us
him
where he's from?
You can't just announce the 3 men as a team.
Sure. Did you have to announce he's from India? But anyway, so there you go. It was a good match. Tiger pinned Lethal with a Tiger suplex, and that was that. Then we had the Borash interview with Team 3D, which I don't even want to rant about. You had to get a drink at this moment.
I was thirsty.
He was thirsty.
At least he's drinking water. That's good. I was going to rant here about Spike Dudley, but I've already done it. Spike's so skinny and so white and so unassuming.
He's just a guy, a skinny, short guy with an ugly beard.
I don't get it. I don't want to hear anybody tell me it's the underdog thing, because I've already been on this rant before.
He takes crazy bumps.
So do a lot of guys. So did half of
Particularly
this
tonight,
crew.
yes.
Yes. In fact, half this crew probably took worse bumps than Spike Dudley did this evening.
But there's people watching.
We can't hear you unless you're talking to the mic, Brent.
There are people watching that take a look at Spike Dudley and they say, I could wear a ratty t-shirt, go in that ring, take crazy bumps, and make very little money. Just like Spike.
And this is a positive, and how?
Well, I'm just saying that that's how he has a job. Because people can relate to him.
Okay.
That was an opinion brought to you by Brent Kremen.
That was. You know, I'll give you this, Brent. When people see Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, I think they do think that. I think they think, there's someone just like me. There's a geek, got a little bit of gear, does some flips, and he's in this business. He's one of us. Because he's not a cartoon character. I don't think anybody thinks that about Spike. I think people see Spike and they go, I could whip his ass. Why should I pay to see him?
Well, at least we don't think Spike's on drugs.
He's not on steroids. How about that?
I wasn't referring to steroids.
What were you referring? I wish we had a webcam. You cannot get the full Brent experience unless you actually watch him. You've got to look at him as he is Brent Kremen. Sit down for a second, Brent. Chris Daniels, Sen Chi, who is the former Low Key, in a cage match. I mentioned this on Observer Live, but today I popped in an ROH DVD from like January, and Chris Daniels and Low Key had a match. And it was a great match.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Daniels went for the Angel Wings, and Low Key flipped over into a bridge and pinned him. And I watched this match about twice. And then this afternoon I found out it was Daniels and Low Key on the pay-per-view. And I was like, holy shit, I get to watch it again.
You're psychic.
So I watched it. I don't think it was quite as good as the Ring of Honor match, but it was a very, very good match. And the finish saw Chris Daniels go for the Angel Wings, and Low Key flipped over into a bridge, although he did use the ropes, and he pinned him. The same finish. It was very similar to the Ring of Honor match, but I have no problem with that. It was good stuff.
Yeah. I don't think using the same finish again is negative in any way.
And he used the ropes.
Yes. Yeah. I was surprised that he won. I guess
they're going to use him as a regular.
Well, apparently. It seemed to me he was a last-second replacement deal.
No, Daniels actually was on the show today, and he said he'd known for about 3 weeks.
Oh.
He goes, they gave him a list of men. Low Key was the top of the list. Lance Storm was number 2. They did not actually even contact Lance Storm, so he dissed at number 2. But still, those were the plans, and so.
You had Daniels on the show today?
Observer Live he was
doing it like from backstage?
Yeah, it was after the match.
Oh, after, okay.
Yeah. Go on.
Didn't know.
You were talking about this match.
No, I was surprised. I knew Low Key was in because Dave put it up on the website, but I was surprised that he won because I figured it'd be a one-shot deal. But like you say, apparently they have plans for him.
Yep, it's going. Well, they've been talking for a long time about putting him with Conan.
Yeah.
So now they've got him in. They're going to use him, and this was good stuff. Then we had Conan and Bullet Bob in an arm wrestling match in a steel cage. Indeed. Bullet Bob looks like he just whipped Conan's ass.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Conan because he's old, he's hurting so bad.
Mm-hmm.
He's now added this wacky swagger to try and cover up the fact that he limps.
It's not working.
And he's just broken.
Yeah.
Absolutely broken. And Bullet Bob, 66 years old, is just a machine.
Hang on, Brent had a comment I want everyone to hear. Brent, can you step forward, please?
I was ignoring him because he wouldn't speak into the mic.
Does he still wear his pants halfway down his ass?
Didn't you watch it?
All the way down, actually, yes.
Yes, he does.
He's still sagging, yes.
He is, in fact, a gangsta.
How do you feel about that, Brent?
As a Jew, how do you feel about those gangstas and their pants down by their ankles? Put the mic by your face.
I have no comment as a Jew, but I can say personally I find Conan very annoying. And Bob Armstrong, I remember he was old when he feuded with Jim Cornette, I believe, 10 years ago.
Well, he was only 56 10 years ago. He's now 66 years old. In fine shape for a 66-year-old man.
Sure.
He's in better shape than you, Vince.
Hell yeah. Oh, he kicked my ass.
So they had an arm wrestling contest, and it was as dramatic as humanly possible. And this was absolutely the best match these two men could possibly have had.
Yes.
It was fine. I loved it. And then when it was
It was
over...
not as good as their other arm wrestling match, actually.
Really? I was fine with it.
Conan was not nearly as histrionic as he was last time.
I see. So anyway, Conan lost, and the stipulation was that the good guys got to strap the bad guys afterwards. Homicide took pretty much a flip bump off of strapping, which killed me. So don't sit down, please, Brent. You don't need any more water. You've gotten water about 16 times. Every time you do it, we can hear it on the show. Just relax for a little while. It's like I'm babysitting. Look at him.
Oh, I'm looking.
He's gone into the bathroom to fill up his glass now because I wouldn't let him do it in the kitchen. Anyway, where were we? The good guys strap the bad guys, much like I'm going to strap Brent Kremen. And maybe on the air. I may strap you on the air, Brent.
Brent's vetoing that idea. He's against the strapping.
I'm going to bend you over that couch and strap the shit out of you.
Drop. Before the match, they aired a video package of this whole deal.
Wow. There's a soundbite for everybody there. Go on.
Yeah. It was a video package recapping the whole James Gang LAX feud, and every time LAX was on, they were all full of fire and brimstone and rapping in Spanish and being all cool, and every time the James Gang were on, they were just these dorks. And I was watching this thinking, who in their right mind would cheer for the James Gang in this?
Well, I just had an idea. Brent, come here a second. I want you to put these headphones on. I want you to put the mic up to your mouth.
Hold this.
And I want you to listen to this. This is intermission on the show. Before we get further into the TNA pay-per-view, I'm going to play a special song for everybody, including Brent. I just want you to listen to it, Brent, okay? Give me your thoughts when it's done.
Brokeback Mountain, the new film from Ang Lee.
Boy, oh boy, that Chris Masters would make one awesome Brokeback Mountain cowboy.
The thought of actually going all the way with Chris Masters did not cross my mind.
I'm not saying they should.
Chris Masters looks great. Look at him. He's a big jacked up freak.
Holy hot damn, Chris Masters is a fag.
Never once floated across my radar screen.
I'm sure someone backstage is wondering, why the fuck ain't this guy getting over? He's got all the tools.
That'd be good.
And he said, okay, now let's try it on you. And I said, sure.
Yeah.
It really gets me emotional.
So I got down on all fours.
I'm gonna get down on my knees, dude.
So now I'm there on my knees and one arm.
You know, I might excite him a little bit, but
300-pound man hover over you.
I single-handedly fucked this to his knees. The masterpiece has been humbled.
Good God Almighty.
If anyone belongs in Brokeback Mountain, Kip James.
Thank you, Brent. Oh, God. Well, kids, we're back. After that brief little intermission right there. Oh, my God.
Wow.
What would we do without you, Brent?
With that haircut tonight, I mean, what can I say? He has a new one every month.
He does, in fact, have a new wacky haircut every month.
And he thinks they're good.
Yeah. He
wouldn't be Kip James if he wasn't Kip James.
Brent, he's a special guy. Let's continue with the show here. We'll get you back for a little more.
Especially in airports.
You know we got to play for Brent. I got something else I'm going to play for you here in a minute. We'll play it at the end of the show. Just have a seat for now.
Does it involve airport?
Sit down, Brent.
Please. Jesus, Vince.
I'm sorry, I know I do that too much.
Puma, Elix Skipper, and Petey Williams versus Chris Sabin, Shark Boy, and Chase Stevens in a cage match. This is another match with just a bunch of stuff going on. It was a fine match. Nothing really memorable except for the spot.
The spot.
Chase Stevens went up to the top. There were 4 men in the ring. He decided he was going to do a shooting star press off the top onto all the guys. First off, he didn't rotate enough.
Oh, God, this is hideous.
He landed on his forehead. He's lucky he's not dead.
Yeah.
And the reason he landed on his forehead was because all 4 men parted like the Red Sea. And I reference it as a Jew, Vince or Brent here would understand. And he crashed and nearly died. And the best part of this was, after doing a shooting star press off the top of a steel cage, landing on his head when everybody moved, he was on his feet 15 seconds later tops doing spots.
X Division.
I have never... It was so stupid I couldn't even get mad. It was like the epitome of stupidity.
It was Briscoe-rific.
It was just absurd. So, oh my God. You need a gag. A ball and gag for him when he's not speaking. Well, you humble him with that strap. So, anyway, it came down to, it was an elimination match, so it came down to Petey and Sabin. So, the match was going on just fine, except for the aforementioned stupidity on the part of the blonde natural. And, so... Chris Sabin starts to climb over the cage. Petey goes after him. They're brawling on the side of the cage. The first man to hit is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
So Sabin starts pounding Petey's head into the side of the cage. And even Brent's like, why would he do that? Because if he falls off, he wins.
Yeah.
Well, Brent's right, and as he hit his head into the cage multiple times, Petey Williams did in fact fall off. But he fell off and landed on the shoulders of Scott D'Amore. So Chris Sabin was able to drop and land on his feet and win.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just as contrived as it sounds listening to it here. And it was just an extra bit of wackiness. It was so unnecessary. It was just another way to involve Scott D'Amore. I mean, that's all. He was all over this show. Yes,
Brian,
Brent?
I've been meaning to tell you this for a long time. There's no H in wackiness.
What did he say?
There is no H in wackiness.
There is now. Sit your ass down. Obviously, he has not read the FAQ.
No.
There's wacky, Brent, and then there's wacky. There's a big difference. By the way, look in your American Heritage Dictionary. They spell it both ways. Yeah, they do. Brent is appalled that I would.
He's indignant.
Listen, you two fucking journalism students.
I've never corrected you on that.
Give a shit.
Don't drag me into this.
Think you spell wacky? I spell
'cause I know
wacky
how to
however the
spell
fuck I want. Starting a new... I don't want to hear anybody ranting about my writing style. I'm creating a new style of writing here. I'm not here to follow any fucking rules of writing and journalism. Yes, Brent?
Well, if you can do that, then I can get Beatles in the encyclopedia. Because you have adults and you have Beatles.
What?
Well...
Is this a Jewish term?
No, my father made it up. They're not children. There's the adults table and there's the Beatles table.
Wow. It makes sense, you know? Brent, please sit down for a minute. So, anyway, like I said, good match with a wacky finish. Samoa Joe faced Sabu for the X title in a cage match. I read reviews of this before I watched it, and they were very negative.
Really?
It was not the best Samoa Joe match by any stretch of the imagination. Very basic match. I didn't see anything wrong with it. I think it was about a 2.25 star match. Just a match.
Somewhere in there. It was
Sabu
fine.
did some stuff.
There's nothing I never need to see again, but it was
certainly not insulting in any way.
No, especially considering Sabu had a broken freaking arm.
He had a broken arm.
Which they used.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Well, they sort of used.
Well, he
worked it over.
He didn't for a while. Then, like halfway through the match, it occurred to him, hey, he's got a bad arm.
Yeah.
Which, in a way, made it stand out more.
He's no Forrest Griffin.
He's not Forrest Griffin. He's not Rich Franklin punching guys with a broken hand.
Stays away from guys with injuries. Just the random ranting in the background by Brent really makes this show. You know what I mean, Vince?
Everything makes this
show.
So,
anyway, the finish was Sabu going for his triple jump moonsault, but Joe threw a chair at his face and then hit the muscle buster for the pin. Fine finish.
Yeah.
I was totally fine with finish. So, I've seen far worse, like I said. Nothing on this show was below about 2.25. In fact, this was probably the worst match on the show, and it was a little better than average. So
it's either this or the arm wrestling match, and
I don't count that as a match. I
Okay,
would
yeah.
never give that a rating. Team Canada faced Team 3D in a capture the flag match. Same story, a bunch of shit happening, clusterfuck, guys did big moves. But again, the crowd was into it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything seemed to work. I do have one major complaint about this match. And the complaint is that they did a ref bump, and the first part of my complaint is the ref bump meant nothing. Because the idea was the ref took a bump and Team 3D got the flag.
Mm-hmm.
But even though visually we all knew they won, even though the music guy even played their music, because the ref didn't officially ring the bell, the match continued. So the bad guys put the flag back and the bout continued, as mentioned. And so then what happened at the end was Team 3D got the flag.
Yeah.
There was zero
There was
point.
no point to doing the botchery with the ref.
The point to the ref bump was to
tomfoolery.
swerve us into
Yeah.
thinking that perhaps they were going to lose, and then they won. Now, that's bad enough that they had a ref bump that made no sense whatsoever, but it was made worse because the very next match had a ref bump.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't need 2 ref bumps in a row, and it was particularly stupid because you didn't even need the first one.
No.
They had a ref bump for the sake of having a ref bump. So, that annoyed me. But like I said, match was fine.
Match was fine. It was different because with the catch the flag stipulation, both teams started out with Spike and Eric Young playing goalie. It was just a different thing to do. And on a show where every match tended to blend into each other, is a different little thing to do that made a difference.
So then, after the finish, which was the good guys destroying the bad guys, don't even know. Oh, they set up a table mid-ring, and Spike moved out of the way. Young went to the table, and then Rude took the 3D, and the bad guys got the flag. Anyway, D'Amore ran in afterwards, so they gave him the diamond cutter. D'Amore was in about 18 segments on this show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. The guy has got to get off TV. Either get off TV or get off the booking committee. It's not the kind of heat where, it's not that ticket-selling heat.
No.
It's that, Jesus Christ, do I have to see this guy again?
Well, part of it is because the same 5 guys. It's not just him, it's all of Team Canada.
It's the same, we've just been seeing the same stuff for about 4 years.
Well,
the D'Amore one just annoys me because he's on the booking committee.
Yeah.
And he's in all these segments. And I don't care what you say, every booker says this, it's not me. Everybody else is putting this together. Well, say no.
Yeah.
You're on the committee.
We don't need...
Overrule it.
Yeah.
You should not be on TV. And the whole thing, the last time he got heat for this, he took himself off TV, and it was during the period where there was no TV. And as soon as they got TV again, he was back.
Well, that's just a wacky coincidence. These things are out of his control.
Sure. Totally wacky coincidence. Brent, do you have something of value to say here?
Whether it's of value, I'll leave others to judge, but I had a little chat with Scott D'Amore on Wrestling Observer Live.
I do have to ask you about this. You called in to Wrestling Observer Live, and what possessed you?
Well, I wanted to have some comments about Vince, but as long as Scott D'Amore was on the show, I basically told him that I will support their product no matter what, because I want them to succeed. I want the wrestlers to have another place to work, and it's not run by Vincent Kennedy and McMahon. However, I said that if they're going to bring in old has-beens from WCW in the mid-'90s, they should use them to put over the other wrestlers. Obviously, Scott did not take my advice this evening, and nor did the rest of the booking committee. And I'm wondering, did any of the other callers to Wrestling Observer Live have suggestions to Scott, or was I the only one that he ignored?
I don't know how to answer that question.
I do. Brent, I did not listen to the show, but I assure you he ignored your suggestion, and I strongly would guess that he ignored everyone else's suggestions too.
Brent, here's the deal, and it's not like Scott D'Amore doesn't know. You know what I mean? It's not like you called up and told him something that was like mind-boggling.
He did not say, wait a minute, he's right.
Jesus, God.
This Brent kid's on the right track.
I never thought of that before.
By Jove.
That's not the, you know what I mean? So, it's, it's not like he ignored your suggestion. You know what I mean? It's like I'm sure they've heard the suggestion 8 million times. And they don't see it that way, clearly. So, 1 million people could ask the same question, and I don't think anything's going to change. But that's the answer, so. But it was a good call, Brent. You made the board very happy when they discovered it was you.
There was a parade.
There was a parade of some sort. Did anyone else? People asked questions throughout the show. I don't remember what anybody asked. But it was stuff that it would have made no difference whatsoever. There's certain questions that I often put up who's coming onto the show onto the board, and I say, does anybody have any questions? And sometimes, obviously, some of the questions are jokes. But some of the questions are stupid. But how do I word this? I don't know how to...
They're not bad questions, but they're questions you would never get a good answer to anyway.
Yeah, that's perfect. There's a question where I just read it, and I'm sure that it sounds like a good question to ask, but I know you're not going to get an answer to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what a good example would be to this sort of. You're I don't know. What did you ask exactly, Brent?
He asked why the WCW stars being brought in were not putting over younger guys.
Yeah, I mean that's a question. I mean it's a valid question. But you know you're not going to get the answer you want. And you know you're going to get the company answer, or you're going to get an answer, we're working on it, you're going to get something like that. And so I usually just don't even ask the questions. Because I know there's no point to asking the question, it's just a waste of a couple of minutes.
The best answer you get for some of these would just be no comment.
Yeah, and most people aren't even going to say that.
Or they may just hang up on you.
I don't think that's going to happen. People often ask questions designed, I think, to try to get people to hang up on me. I just completely ignore those questions.
I see.
But, you know, they're questions... I think people think that interviewing people is an easier job than it really is. You know what I mean?
Yes, I absolutely think people think that.
I mean, Brent, 9 times out of 10, if it were not Observer Live, you'd be hung up on after the first question. You know what I mean? But what are you going to say? Go on.
Well...
Put the mic up by your face.
I worked as a journalist.
Yes.
And I know what questions you're talking about, and I would always ask them.
Yes.
I would ask a lot of them, and and whether I got an adequate answer or not was unimportant. It was just that I asked the question and let the people judge the answer, let the readers judge the answer, or the listeners.
Your question,
Bruce Mitchell. It would be really interesting if he was actually doing an interview and asked some of the questions on the Bruce Mitchell questions.
But there's a reason that that column is like that, because those questions would never be asked.
Right.
Because you would have a list of 10 questions and you wouldn't get past question number 1.
Yes.
Like your question at Wrestlemania, Brent, if you would have gone on third, God knows the whole thing might have been shut down after question number 3. You have an interview that needs to go an hour. And so the idea is to try to get as much out of the subject as possible without getting the whole damn thing shut down in the first 4 minutes.
But all the questions that were asked at that press conference were bullcrap. They were not.
There are often questions that are totally pointless. That's true. But you have to find a balance of asking a question where you're going to get a little bit of information out of the subject and not shut down the whole interview. You go so far to the extreme, asking a question that gets an entire press conference for WrestleMania shut down, that it's an ineffective interviewing technique.
But it makes them look worse than me. It makes them look like they have something to hide.
Not necessarily.
The other journalists in the room who now have no material to write a story would vehemently disagree with you.
Yes. And you also have to look at it where they're going to twist it in such a way to make you come off looking like a madman. And a small number of people might think, oh, they do have something to hide. But a lot of people are going to look at you like you're just crazy.
None of the other... First of all, there were very few legitimate journalists in that room. And those that were legitimate journalists don't do a good job of covering pro wrestling. They're just fixated on whether it's fixed or not and stupid things like that.
That's true.
And I was trying to bring up a legitimate point.
I'm just trying to say that on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the question you asked, and 1 being, who does your hair, Vince? You could have maybe asked a 6 instead of a 10. That's just the way that I'm looking at the situation here.
Okay.
But I
asked those questions backstage when, and
you had an issue backstage as well with the women, right? At least that was the claim.
That was way later. That was because I don't know what it was, but for some reason, Terry Runnels said something about my interview. Maybe she didn't like that I said that I remembered when she was Alexandra York. Maybe that made her feel old. I don't know.
I don't know. But the point is, you had an issue in both places.
I did not. The deal with Alexandra New York was not, where Terry Runnels was not for months later. That was actually at WrestleMania. The WrestleMania press conference was when they were announcing that WrestleMania was going to be in Seattle.
So both times you were there, you had an issue.
Well, they must have remembered me, I suspect.
So you're now on the list.
Oh, I would guess that they know me over there. You would know better than me. But after the regular press conference, I talked to Vince, I talked to Brock Lesnar, I talked to Paul Heyman, I talked to Stephanie, and that went generally fine. I asked Vince about whether they're going to be having at the Raw tapings any of the local wrestlers. I brought up the name Tim Flowers. He said, "Who's Tim Flowers?" And then later on, Tim Flowers actually ended up wrestling on the Raw that followed WrestleMania. And then Stephanie went and relayed the story about Andre the Giant picking her up in his hand.
Yes.
And so that was fun. I would definitely say that interviewing Stephanie or being part of that interview was the highlight of my career as a wrestling reporter.
Take that mic. All right, have a seat, Brent. That was some good stuff right there. I'm glad that Stephanie has made your career as a wrestling journalist. You were smitten.
Oh my God, no.
Let's move on. Christian and Abyss for the NWA Heavyweight title in a steel cage. As mentioned, they had a ref bump here. They had thumbtacks, which were used twice. The first thumbtack spot was Abyss being powerbombed off the top rope onto the tacks. That was not enough. Did a bunch of other near falls. Abyss hit the black hole slam. Christian kicked out. More tacks came into play. This time, Christian set up for the, actually, Abyss was going for like a choke slam, and Christian switched it into an unprettier, and the best part of this match is Christian hooked him for the unprettier, and he like glances down like, where can I do this move where I'll land in the least amount of tacks? Mm-hmm. And I think he just knew he was fucked either way. So he went for it, and he actually avoided most of them. He
did the unprettier. Usually he dropped straight down. He threw his ass about 3 feet forward.
Yes.
And he sold his ass, but I think he got out of the pile.
He did not have any tacks in his back.
My favorite part involving that spot was Abyss spread out the tacks and did the powerbomb spot. And then, as you said, he later got more tacks.
Yes.
Because more tacks is more dangerous than just tacks.
Sure.
But yeah, like I said, I enjoyed this match a lot. They made Abyss look like a big, scary killer monster who could not be stopped, which made Christian look like more of a star when he finally stopped him.
Sure.
And I was into it for the first time. For the first time in a long time, I was into anything Christian's done.
This was the best thing he's done in a while.
Since his opening promo, probably.
It was actually his best promo he's done in a while, too, because he didn't speak.
He didn't say a word in his promo,
He took his jacket off and looked mean.
Yeah, he looked pissed off.
So, this was good. This was a very good match, and I think it did a lot for both guys. It didn't do as much for Abyss as it could have because he does his shit every month. You know what I mean?
That is true.
If they had never done a thumbtack spot and they did this match would have been remembered at the end of the year.
When he went to get the thumbtacks, Brent said, "It's going to get tacky." And Brent says that every Abyss match.
Sure. It's comedy.
Yeah.
It's comedy.
And he always looks at me because I'm not laughing.
That's right. So that was a pretty good match right there. I'd give that 3.5 or so, 3 3/4
sounds
maybe.
about right. Probably the best on the show.
Good match. Either this or the low-key match. Low-key match was good.
Low-key match is good. I like the 6-man a little better.
Which one, the opener?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that good. It was good. Don't get me wrong, but. So then the main event, AJ Styles, Ron Killing, Sting, and Rhino versus AMW, Jarrett, Scott Steiner, and that's it.
That's 4, yeah.
In a War Games match with, basically, here's my big problem with the match. First, I'd like to note that in the previous match, it was a cage match, not in a cage, for about 10 minutes. They brawled all over the building.
I know you hated that. I know you always hate crowd brawling. On this show, on an all-cage match show, I think it was...
They needed something different.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it as much as I normally do. I will say this, however, the cage match here sort of was absurd because people kept coming in and going. Like,
they did leave the cage a lot here.
That does sort of defeat the purpose of having a cage when everyone just comes in and out at will. But the deal was 2 men started, and then 1 man came out. Of course, the heels won the coin toss, that sort of thing. So it was booked exactly as you would think, exactly as it should have been. They saved Scott Steiner and Sting for the final 2. And the deal was that you couldn't win until all the men were in, which didn't stop AJ Styles from going for pins. And today to scream, "You can count as much as you want!"
And the ref counted them, by the way.
That's right.
And Chris Harris was like, well, I guess I'll kick out.
So
we don't end the main event early.
All the men got in the ring, and then the cage top lowered, and there were weapons hanging from it and weapons and ladders and tables on top of it. And I watched it and I thought, this is really cool. But I would never have known. You know what I mean? I had no idea because all they told us was it was going to be a cage match. What they should have done on Impact is the 3 minutes they spent talking about Larry Zbyszko's fucking hair, they should have done a pre-taped deal in an empty arena where they had the cage set up, they showed the inside of it, they maybe did the thing where you destroy an apple, you scrape an apple up, and then they could have lowered the top with all the weapons there and just had AJ Styles climb around and show you all the different places you could go and things you could do.
Yeah.
Because it really did look cool. But you would never.
We had no idea.
You had no idea.
We thought it was going to be a lid.
You didn't know. I didn't even know there was going to be a lid. They just said stuff dropping from the ceiling. I thought someone was going to be up in the rafters, like tossing tennis rackets down or something. I had no idea. And it's not like they did a good job explaining it to us. But when I watched it, I thought this would have been a decent selling point. This might have sold some pay-per-view buys.
It's something new.
And instead, it was
cool.
like, you already had to pay and watch for 2.5 hours before you saw this shit.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. But the match itself was fine. Thing with Scott Steiner, I was very high on Scott Steiner. I'm not so much anymore. He looks great when he's throwing dudes around. But when he had to do spots with Sting, holy Christ, he looked horrible.
Yeah.
He looked real bad. And things happened, this, that, and the other thing. The big spot was AJ setting up a ladder on top of the cage, climbing to the top, hanging from the ceiling.
Monkey barring across the lighting structure.
He was hanging from the ceiling of the Impact Zone, and he dropped into a splash on Chris Harris, who was on a table, and he put him through it. And it was very spectacular. Crowd chanted, holy shit. It was actually...
It was probably...
It was not as scary as it sounds.
Yeah, it was probably way, way safer than it looked, and it's definitely safer than it sounds.
Well, the one dangerous thing was you are climbing an unstable ladder.
The ladder was on a mesh surface, which is bad.
If the ladder would have tipped over, he would have died.
Yeah.
Once he actually grabbed the ceiling and dropped into the splash, it was totally safe. And it was reinforced, the top, so it wasn't like anybody was going to go through it.
I'm sure they knew what was going to happen. So.
And then the big fuck up on this show. Everything was just going along fine. And then Sting made Chris Harris tap out to the Scorpion. And I thought, why the fuck did you do that? What was the point?
To make Sting look like a star.
For what?
I don't know.
I mean, the whole thing was, like I mentioned at the beginning, I had no interest in seeing the show going in. It was a great self-contained show, but when the show was over, it concluded. It was like a pay-per-view that you said, the end.
Yeah.
I can go back to my life now. I don't need to watch Impact. There was nothing on this. It wasn't like Sting got pinned by Scott Steiner or made to submit or something like that or something crazy where you're going, good God, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen on Impact? Instead it was like, well, we saw pay-per-view. The good guys won the main event. No, I mean, what is there for Impact? Samoa Joe beat his opponent utterly.
Yeah.
Sting won the main event.
The only thing they did was have Abyss steal the belt.
That's the only thing they did was Abyss stole the belt, which we predicted since he said he was going to walk out with it.
Yeah.
But the show ended, and it was just like, the end.
I guess you're supposed to still want to see Sting kick Jarrett's ass.
The problem is, WWE can end on that note. Because there's always that feeling, what's going to happen on Raw? There's never a Monday where you're not thinking, what's going to happen on Raw tonight?
And there's never a Tuesday where you're thinking,
never.
What's going to happen on Impact?
Never do you think, God, what's going to happen to the Impact tape?
In fact, most often it's Impact spoilers. Oh, they're still taping that show. Wonder what happened.
Listen, 50% of the time, I don't even read Impact spoilers. And it's not because I want to be surprised. It's because I know nothing important happened.
I read them because I know I will forget by the time I watch the show anyway.
Sure, but you never read them and you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this, or oh my gosh, I can't believe they did this, or oh my gosh, this person did this or that. You read them and you're like, well, there's 2 weeks of TV, and then you watch
They did 6 matches, okay.
And then you watch 2 weeks of TV, and then it's over.
And it's time for another pay-per-view.
And if you don't have that must-watch feeling about Impact, you can't end a show on a happy face.
The whole company's just on a treadmill.
It is on a complete treadmill. And at least they've got good shows. You know what I mean? At least that's the one thing that WCW did not have.
Yeah.
They had shitty pay-per-views.
The TNA is doing much better than WCW at the end.
At
Let's
least
be clear about that.
9 times out of 10, and it really is about 9 pay-per-views out of 10. You buy a pay-per-view, and when it's over, you're like, that was not a bad show. And sometimes you go, that was a great show. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you go, it was a good show.
You almost never go, that was a bad show.
Almost never do you go, that show sucked. But that's the only thing they've got going for them, is you know you're probably going to get a good show. And that's why they still have a .9.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the same people over and over again.
It was
over and over and over. And I hear the same excuse, we're waiting for a better time slot, we're waiting. I've heard this waiting thing for 4 years. We're waiting for TV. We're waiting for better TV. We're waiting for a better time slot. We're waiting for another better time slot. We're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. Nothing ever happens. Brent?
They're still there. It's an accomplishment for them still to be there. You said they wouldn't last 6 months.
No, that's not an accomplishment.
I think it is.
No. Here's why it's not an accomplishment. Because when TNA first started, I said they will be dead by August. Go read Jerry Jarrett's book and read what life was like in August. They were ready to go out of business. And the only reason they didn't go out of business was because Panda bought them.
I understand that.
So if you want to say that it's a huge success that a giant corporate entity purchased them and is losing them as a loss leader, then fine, it's a success. If you want to say that losing, I guess, probably $30 million now, because I know it was like $20 million last year, so it's got to be $25 million at least by now. If you think losing $25 million over 4 years is a success, then fine. But to me, I do not see that as a huge success.
Jerry Jarrett was successful in finding a money mark.
In being a worker and getting a money mark, sure. If you want to call that a success, yes. But if that money mark walked away tomorrow, they would be dead. So I don't consider that being much of a success.
Unless he wants to slash the budget all the heck.
No, they would be dead. Because who would pay that $25 million debt? He'd have to declare bankruptcy, they would be done. He didn't have $25 million.
No, he doesn't.
The only way it could be a success is if he conned another money mark into picking up pieces. Would that be a success?
There's always Ted Turner.
He has been a very successful carny, yes. But as far as creating a self-sufficient wrestling promotion that is able to sustain itself in 2006, he has been a monumental failure. The entire company has.
Brent, successful businesses make money. TNA loses money.
Hand over fist for years now.
Okay, moving on.
I was just waiting to see if there was going to be any sort of comeback right there, but I will give you that, Brent, that he has been a successful carny because he did find a money mark. I will give you that. But the company itself has not been a success, and it never has. And I don't want to hear people telling me I was wrong when I said they were going to be out of business in 3 months. Because had it not been for Panda, I would have called it to the month. And I may have even called it to the week had I predicted a week. That's the story of TNA. So anyway, like I said, it was a good pay-per-view, but treading water, running on a treadmill.
I was thinking at the end of the escape cage match, Saban won and PD lost, and they could have had divorce interference work, and PD win and Saban lost, and it wouldn't have mattered at all.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have made a lick of difference.
But anyway, I didn't feel ripped off by the pay-per-view, so I got to give it a thumbs up.
Oh,
definitely
a thumbs up.
It was a thumbs up show. But the direction, I still give a thumbs down, the overall.
Sure.
And before we go today, Brent, I want you to put these headphones on one more time. Got a little part of an interview I want you to listen to that I don't think you've heard yet. We'll get your thoughts on it, and then we'll say goodbye to everybody. So, Brent, this is, put that mic up by your face, too. This is the Iron Sheik.
After 29 years I'm with Nicola, and that jabroni break my heart because the wood chairman take me to buy dates. After 29 years I'm with Nicola, and that jabroni break my heart because the wood chairman take me to buy dates. I asked Nicola, can you give the wood chairman $2? I don't have a change with me. All is $100 bill I have. Swear to God that Jabroni Nicola worse than Hulk Hogan. He's another gold digger. And that Jew Jabroni, he didn't give the wood chairman $2. And that way Nicola get hit with me, and I never respected Nicola after that, because I'm the man. I make the money. Money doesn't make me. Money gonna be here, Nicola. You and that faggot Hulk Hogan, you gonna be gone for a million years. And Hulk Hogan, after I drop my belt to that jabroni, and he promised me he gonna call me that low-life gold digger faggot. He didn't call me, and he broke my heart Islamic way. And also you, Nicola. I booked you 702 hours with my countryman, Mr. Mahdavi, in the Las Vegas, Nevada, the most famous casino in the world. And you didn't give the bullshitman $2 because all my money was $100 bills.
What if Volkov only had hundreds?
No, he didn't have it. $100, Mr. Maloney. Now you want to tell me you're Nicola's side?
I'm not on anyone's side. I just maybe he didn't have any singles.
But I saw it.
Oh, you saw it? Okay.
We was together that night. He again bring his
grill.
Judge Foreman, give me what it called.
The grill.
Yeah, and he plugged it, got a breakfast, and I saw his money. He was grouped together.
Oh, so he had
yes,
singles.
sir.
Okay.
And Nicola, you are worse than Hulk Hogan. You are son of a bitch. You are gold digger. You are Jew jabroni. Russia says that I never respected Nicola.
He called
Nikolai Volkov.
That was a horrible.
I asked Nicola, can you give the wood chairman $2?
Let's stop that right there. What do you think of that, Brent?
You called him Nicola.
That's what you got out of the whole deal.
Secondly, I don't think that was his Hall of Fame induction ceremony, now was it?
No, that was not his Hall of Fame induction. But, Brent, I want to thank you for being on the show. You've made things quite entertaining for me today. Vince and I always get a good laugh out of you. And we got some in-depth thoughts about the pro wrestling business as well, which sometimes we do get out of you, so that's good stuff. So, thanks Brent, thanks Vince, thanks everybody for listening, and we will talk to you guys later on. I gotta play a drop here. I don't know what it is. We do this every now and then on the show. We've got a drop board here. Bunch of different things, such as Boss Rutan singing.
Gonna bounce his head on the table 10 times or something. Don't you ever do this.
You know, the boogeyman laughing. The Iron Sheik.
Rich is back, make him humble, and then fuck his ass.
That's a classic.
That would never get old.
And every now and then I look at the drop board and I just see a song I don't know what the hell it is. So I'm going to play it. All it says is Bryan Alvarez, Figure 4 Daily, February 30th, 2006.
Maybe it's the whole show.
Let's find out. We are back here on Figure 4 Daily, and we are joined by Iron Sheik. How you doing?
The great feeling all time I had all my life. Besides that, everything was great.
Now, how did you first get involved with Ultimate Fighter? How were you approached? Did you see, how exactly did that come about?
You asked me excellent question.
Wow.
No any sport event in your country sold out Madison Square Garden for the God and Jesus and Mr. McMahon.
How do you balance...
Oh, professional.
Good God.
I respect your bush.
Sure you do. Because you mentioned earlier, we were talking a little bit about the Sheik video. You were part of the most highest Ultimate Fighter of all time and a rampage through the house. And looking back, what are your thoughts on that blood sport?
Brent, you are another faggot son of a bitch.
Bullshit.
You are fag, you are punk little gay.
I love that other cock. I could have fucking sworn...
I never respect the gay. I never respect the fag.
Fantastic. I will eat my hat. What was the penalty, by the way, for the first season if you revealed any of the results?
Break his back, make him humble, and then fuck his ass.
Oh. Yeah, I remember there was some ungodly, absurd amount of cock. That sounds like the most horrible thing that could possibly happen to a fighter. Thank you very much for doing the show today. I know we're pretty much out of time, but before you go, could you be Brian Blair?
You are worse than Hulk Hogan.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back on tomorrow. It is the weekend Bryan and Vinny show. We've got Dave Meltzer, of course, put us into Camel Clutch. break our back, and then fuck our ass. Things could be much, much worse. And it was not a bad show. That was fantastic.
I don't know what else to say.
I've actually got to go back and find out who it was that created that now, because that was just too damn good to not give them credit.
A lot of work went into that. They clearly spliced about 4 or 5 different shows together.
Sure, yeah. This was from Happy Hack on
Happy
the board.
Hack.
Happy Hack
You
created
like Happy
that.
Hack.
That was a masterpiece.